All right. Are we good? Are we here? 11:16. Miles, we are here. 11:16.
All right, let's go.
We are here. Are we about to read some peak, or are we about to read some mid? That is the question. Peak or mid?
We're about to find out, bro.
I haven't even. You and we haven't read the spoilers yet, but we're here. Where's chat? Where's everybody in the chat? Young Smokey, Christopher, mid. Yo, don't tell me mid. Miles, have you heard any signs of this chapter being mid?
Not yet.
Oh no. Yo, chat, we got a guest today. Does he want to introduce himself?
What's good, chat? This is Mr. Miles.
Chat, we got Mr. Miles with us, and we got Pakes with the 5 months. Shouts out to the king. Thank you, Pakes. But Miles, glad to have you here, bro. You and we've been catching up. We've been chopping it up. We got lots of theories, like Emu being Davy Jones, right?
Oh yeah, forgot about that. Actually, that's a good one.
The Emu is Davy Jones theory. I don't think the streets are ready for that one.
I don't know about that, bro. It's a big one. It's a good one.
All right, well, let's get into why Emu is Davy Jones after these spoilers. Pakes, thank you, bro. Young guide, bro. Okay, so someone said this is the short summary, not full. Okay, obviously. I don't think anyone thought this was the full summary, right? Did you think this was the full summary?
As far as I know, it's the brief spoilers.
It's the brief. Yo, JJ, Rashad, Ben. All right, Miles. How about we start this first point? Brief spoilers for 11:16. Sway.
Here we got
Matilda. Naftali. Chapter starts with people's reaction about the war Vegapunk is talking about, and people are asking how it can continue if participating are not alive after 800 years. Okay, they kind of butchered the grammar. So so people around the world are hearing about this war that's been going on since the Void Century, and people nowadays are wondering how it's going on if the people back then, like 800 years ago, aren't even alive to participate. So people in the world are wondering, like, okay, well, how is this war going on? They must still be waging war against somebody, right? Is that how you interpret it? Let me hear your take.
That's a good question, because they wouldn't know about Emu. I don't even know if Vegapunk does.
Does Vegapunk know about Emu? Yes or no? Gun to your head. Does he know who Emu is? Does he know that there's a world leader? That there's a man who gathered 20 nations, Miles?
I think he knows who Emu is. If Ivankov knows who Emu is, I think he knows of Emu, but I don't know if he knows he's alive and ruling the world.
He's alive and ruling. I think Vegapunk must have some type of information.
I don't think he has an idea of it.
You think he has no idea?
I think he has an idea that someone might be pulling the strings, but I don't know if he knows Emu is the one.
Naftali says no. Noel says yes. Roger, was good, bro. Gingish. All right, next point. And I agree with where you're coming from on that one, Miles. The next point, I need your take on this. Emu stares at a portrait of a woman who looks like Vivi.
Well, it's Vivi or Lily.
Lily. It's couldn't be Queen Lily.
It's Lily.
So here's my thing. What's the chance that Emu is inside of the body of Lily and he's holding a picture of Lily? Do you think that's something that Oda would go for?
Oh, that is something Oda would totally do. 100%.
Yo, Christopher asks if this chapter confirms Emu has Uranus.
I think the last chapter did, didn't it?
The last chapter?
I think Vegapunk said that they have an ancient weapon, right?
I mean, I read the spoilers. I read the officials. I guess I read the spoilers too, but I read the officials for 11:15, and the way I understood it was like Vegapunk was saying that the ancient weapons were used 800 years ago to raise the sea level 200 meters. But I don't think it was entirely clear that, I don't think he made it clear that the world government right now has an ancient weapon. Am I wrong?
Maybe I read a different translation, because I was watching someone's video take on it, and there was a part where I think it said, Vegapunk says, They have an ancient weapon, and they've been waiting to fire it again, and now's the time.
Huh.
And that he was referring to like how he was what was it? He was theorizing how the water level is going to rise based on that weapon being used.
Okay, so back to Emu staring at the portrait of Vivi. Why is Emu so obsessed with the Nefertari family and Queen Lily? Like, I know that they were one of the families that chose not to go to Marijua, right? The Nefertari clan. And I know they were the one, and I know that Queen Lily, she wanted to help spread the D initial. But I'm starting to think that there's some ulterior motive. There's some bigger reason why Emu has this fascination, why Emu has like this obsession with the Nefertaris. Don't you think? Or do you think it's that simple that Emu's like, oh, you didn't join us, I hate you? Like,
I don't think that would be enough of a reason in and of itself. Maybe for like the first 100 years, 200 years or so, but 800 years later, just the family who went down there. No, it's the spreading of the poneglyphs. It's Nika coming back, and Robin's in his crew.
So
he knows.
So you think it's kind of like, you think it's the general reasons, like Nika's coming back, they spreaded the poneglyphs. You don't think like there's a more deeper underlying reason? Like, okay, this is the reason why. Like, sure, Nefertaris, they did their thing. Alabasta, they did what they did, but like this is the specific reason why Emu hates the Nefertaris. You don't think it's something like that?
Oh, I think it very well would be, or could be, a deeper meaning reason. I mean, for all we know, Emu actually might have had a thing for Lily,
so
and that's why he feels so mad about it.
Naftali in the chat said a love triangle.
Oh, with Joy Boy.
With Joy Boy, do you think Joy Boy stole Emu's hoe?
Oh, I could so see that. Like, can you imagine if it wasn't like the actual war that was over the technology? It wasn't over this, it was over that. It was over a woman. That's what Emu's real goal was.
What's good, Smokey? What's good, Johan? What's good, Wasp? What's good, Christopher? Sway? So it's a love triangle.
Could be, yeah. I could see it being a revenge story.
Okay, so do people actually truly believe Emu is in the body of Lily, or is that just a fun theory? Like, is that something that people are on the hill dying for? Emu is in the body of Lily right now?
Well, you know what I think? I think either way that Emu very likely is in the body of a woman, but he was originally a man. What I actually think is that it's a three-eyed woman because he could not read the poneglyphs on his own, but a three-eyed person can if they unlock the power. But I guarantee Emu didn't.
Well, I mean, what if Emu is like the king of the three-eyed tribe? Or like he was like a high-ranked guy?
Could be. It's also totally possible.
Gingish said that Emu is referred to as a man in Japanese. Yeah, I had put out, I've been talking about that for a very long time. I put out another tweet about that because they referred to Emu as Emu Sei. And Sei is like this Japanese word for masculine and like men. And like they refer to Sharia, Saint Sharia, the celestial female dragon, as Emu, or not Emu, Sharia Gu, and Gu would be for women. So they refer to Emu as Emu Sei for men. So like that kind of insinuates, like the Gorosei is pretty much calling Emu a man. Like it's insinuating that Emu's a man. I can't speak English.
No, that's interesting though, because I was on the train for the longest time that Emu's gonna be a woman. Emu's gonna be a woman. I was positive about it, even if I didn't have all the evidence. But now I've changed my mind a little bit to say that Emu was a man and use the personality switch that Doflamingo brought up to take over a woman's body. Which, let's say Emu was in love with Lily, if he can't have her, he joins her.
Damn, if I can't have you, nobody else can.
Exactly. That's the line of thinking. And Emu obviously has that line of thinking with, burn down the Lucia just for a test, enslave everyone.
Enslave everyone. Yo, what's good, Rohit? Kind of Rohit and Irfan. All right, Miles, next point. In Alabasta, we can see reactions to Vivi's missing poster.
Missing poster?
Vivi's missing. I don't think she's going back to Alabasta. It would be a trap. It would be a death zone. They just lost Cobra. You don't think they're going to send some troops out there?
Oh, they absolutely are. They're vulnerable.
So
she's vulnerable there.
She needs to go to her only safe sanction is the Straw Hats and Luffy. Where else is she gonna go? You think she's gonna pull up to fucking Whole Cake Island? She's gonna pull up to Zoe? Her only option is the Straw Hats.
There's only two options. It's back with the Strats and their ship, but that I don't know if that seems likely because don't you think she'd be a detriment to them?
Man, if anyone's a detriment to the Straw Hats, we need to start looking at Usopp. We need to start looking at fucking. He's the main culprit. Usopp and Chopper.
Hey, he's pulled out some feats though. Like he stopped Sugar from taking Law and Luffy.
Okay, but how long are we gonna talk about fucking Sugar? The Usopp versus Sugar fight. How much longer can we be talking about that fight?
Hey, maybe when Emu comes up, is about to touch Luffy, he gets him too. You never know.
Yo, Johan said she doesn't like it's a reference to the passage of the Exodus from Egypt. Huh? What does that mean?
What is that?
Emu has the body of a woman, but she's a man. She has blue hair and a budded Joy Boy to take his voice. Yo, that is a wild...
Oh, by the way, Threevil, I don't know if you know this, but we already know that the voice actor for Emu is going to be a man.
Oh, we do.
We do know that. It's Aokiji's voice actor, or the voice of Dio.
Damn. Yo, Aokiji is Emu then.
Yeah, it's Aokiji.
Aokiji is Emu because think about it. The voice actor for Tengu Yamahatetsu, remember the guy with the red mask in Wano? He had the same exact voice actor as the father of Odin.
Oh yeah, and I think a lot of people know. I wasn't one of them, but I know people.
Yeah, I put that in because I had a video about like Wano, like it was a whole like Wano mega theory video, and in that video, that was one of the points I made about Tengu Yamahatetsu being Kazuki Sukiyaki, the father of Odin, because they have the same voice actor. So now we're on to a new take. Aokiji is Emu.
Exactly. It was the time. It was in front of our faces, under our noses.
Aokiji was Emu this whole fucking time. And you know what's crazy? No one guessed it.
Isn't that crazy though?
No one got it.
I didn't get it. I never would have thought. Not if it's Aokiji's father.
Wasp said, why Sea Kings in Wales are friends with Joy Boy if Void Century sea level was 200 meters lower than current story?
Oh, I've got an idea about this. So, you know, we have multiple characters who foreshadow Emu, correct? Like Sugar, for example. And
yeah, Sugar.
And everyone's thinking, where did the Sea Kings come from and why do they have sentience and intelligence?
Yeah.
You see where I'm going with this?
Where are you going with this?
Maybe Emu has the power to turn people into creatures the same way Sugar does into toys.
So Emu created fishmen.
Emu created fishmen, and why can fishmen talk to fish?
Did Emu create fishmen with the black magic? Like he grabbed a human and he's like, all right, come here, motherfucker. Yes. He drew a pentagram on the ground. He's like, all right, you're going to stand in the middle of this pentagram and I'm going to turn you into a fish-human hybrid.
Think of the devil and what he did with people's souls to corrupt them into being demons. That
did Davy Jones corrupt people's souls?
Yes. That's exactly what he did.
All right.
Corrupted their souls into fishmen.
All right. Before we get sidetracked, the next point of the spoilers. Vegapunk says that a portion of the Mother Flame was stolen from him and used to fuel an ancient weapon. It's Uranus. It's Uranus. It's Uranus. They had a flying machine. Uranus is a UFO, bro. Uranus is a flying craft. This is gonna be one of the first times. Because the only other
with lasers.
Bro, the only time we saw a flying craft was what? Arc Maxim and fucking Big News Morgans. Bro, that doesn't count. Big News Morgans is carried by birds. Bro, Uranus is fucking UFO.
Arc Maxim was electricity, but does Mother Flame create its own electricity?
Dude, bro, I bet you any amount of money that the thing flying in the sky, the thing that took out Leloucia, was using Mother Flame. So that's why they referred to it as Mother Flame. But when we went back to Mother Flame, what did they show us? And what do they call Mother Flame? A literal piece of fire. So that must have meant that there is a flying aircraft in the fucking One Piece world flying around and it's able to fucking shoot down Mother Flame and erase an entire island. Bro, there are aircrafts in One Piece. There are UFOs in aircraft in One Piece.
Unbelievable. We got confirmation.
We have confirmation.
When Emu said to use the Mother Flame was do we know that the weapon's called the Mother Flame, or was Emu saying use the
Okay,
Mother
so
Flame York gave us?
so here's the thing, right? Mother Flame, or the ancient weapon is using Mother Flame.
Yeah.
Because the ancient weapon, it needs a fuel source, and that fuel source is Mother Flame. But that fuel source can also be a weapon. So you remember how in the O'Hara flashback, when Professor Clover was talking to the Gorosei about the ancient weapons and the poneglyphs and the Void Sentry, they were saying that having knowledge about the ancient weapons was a threat and a problem because people could use it for evil. They could use it to, they could use it for destruction. So that's why you can see right now, right in 1116. These spoilers, they're saying that they use Mother Flame to fuel the ancient weapon, but that's the same exact thing that destroyed Lucia. So this fuel source, like Mother Flame, fucking Uranus, it could be used for good or it could be used for bad.
Well, I mean, look at Poseidon, because what is Poseidon really supposed to be used for? Like, to have the Sea Kings take the Noah by its chains and take all the fishmen up to the surface. That's what it's supposed to be used for. It's probably its intended purpose. But what do they want to use it for? They have their own counter Pluton that was just a weapon for fighting, for destroying.
See,
the ones that Frankie had.
I think Oda's building up to like this dynamic where Luffy has Shirahoshi on his side, like Luffy has Poseidon on his side. But now that we have Caribou going to Blackbeard, he's gonna tell Blackbeard about the ancient weapons. I'm not entirely sure if Blackbeard's gonna take Poseidon and Pluton. So I think I think it's gonna be a scenario where Luffy has Poseidon, Blackbeard has Pluton, and then the world government has Uranus, and like all three ancient weapons are taken by like three large factions in like the One Piece world because of that. Could you imagine like Blackbeard going to Wano because of Caribou, taking Pluton, going to Elbaf, and then using Pluton against Luffy?
It is no coincidence that he's the only person we know of that's specifically equipped. Oh, here's another thing. I'm gonna make a second point after this. That he's the only person specifically equipped to destroy the walls of Wano, to get Pluton out.
Bro, he has the perfect devil fruit. Like, it is actually insane. Bro, he could probably even use what's the big dude in Blackbeard Pirates?
San Juan Wolf.
San Juan.
Battleship.
Bro,
the battleship.
Have him punch the wall. Like both of them, San Juan Wolf and Blackbeard. Blackbeard can use the Gura Gura. They both punch the wall. They only need to hit one side of it, and then boom, Pluton.
And then it's awakened. It's sleeping and now it's awakened, and there it is. And then also this is gonna say when Vegapunk, or not Vegapunk, I'm sorry, when Whitebeard did his Quake Fruit for the first time in Marineford, what did Sengoku describe it as? He described it as the power to destroy the world, just like the ancient weapons. And what is his power doing? The same thing that is causing tsunamis and earthquakes. What else is doing that right now when it uses its power? Uranus. Mother Flame.
I was listening to that, Uranus and Mother Flame. Someone in chat, Young Smokey said that Pew came out with a fix for the spoilers. They had to correct something. Something about York and Stussy. Hold on, we didn't get to that part yet, luckily.
No, yeah, we got 2 more points. Or 1 more point before that.
Edison and Stussy discuss. Okay, I think this is the part.
Yeah, probably.
York is surprised that Stussy knows about the stolen Mother Flame. She figures out too the location of the Denden Mushi and calls 5 elders. Yo.
Oh, it must be Vegapunk, not Stussy.
It says Stussy, not Vegapunk.
That's what it says, but I see Edison and Stussy discuss. I see.
Okay. Yeah. So so let me see. York is surprised that Stussy knows about the stolen Mother Flame. She figures out too the location of the Denden Mushi and calls the 5 elders. So York is calling them, or Stussy's calling them?
York is calling them because it says she also figures out the location of the Denden Mushi.
Okay.
She figures out. Which I guess means she found where this broadcast is coming from.
So they're going to end the broadcast.
Looks like it.
They're going to end the broadcast.
I did see a hint saying like, well, this might be the end of the broadcast after this, and this could be easily why.
Damn.
But how did she figure it out? Is it in her?
Yeah, how did York figure it out?
Well, I was going to say, I was having a discussion with someone earlier, like about a day or 2 ago, where we're like, where could it be? Where could it be? A lot of people say it's in the ancient robot, but what do we know? We know that when Luffy was in the snake on Skypiea, And now with his crazy observation hockey, couldn't sense him because he was in another big living being. Well, York is actually a giant in her own right. She's very, very big. And if
So
Vegapunk put the snail on her, they wouldn't be able to sense it.
So, like, if of the world or if the Gorsei are looking for life forms, right? They're looking for life forms on Egghead because they're trying to take out the Denden Mushi. You're saying that the Denden Mushi being inside of the robot causes it to like double up on voices, or like I guess the Denden Mushi's voice can't be detected because the robot shells it. It kind of like
Well, that's the thing is because I'm not sure if the robot gives off a voice because it's not an organic being. It's not a life form.
Yo, chat, do you guys think the ancient robot counts as a life form on Egghead?
I think it's more likely it's in York, to be honest.
Vegapunk says
that kind of thing.
Vegapunk says there are many mysteries regarding the Void Century, and there are one group who uncovered it all, but they didn't act. The Pirate King and his crew.
Oh.
Wait, what? The Pirate King? Oh, Roger.
Yeah.
Okay, huh. So, do we think like Roger didn't act because he was gonna die and it was before his time, like he was too early?
Well, I mean, he was going to die from his illness. He knew about it by then.
He was going to die from his illness, but not only that, I mean, Roger, he literally said it's too early. He heard the conversation about the two sovereign. What was his response? Let me ask about one of them, the mermaid princess. Right? It seems to me that Roger knew there was a prophecy. Like, Roger knew Joy Boy was going to come back.
He knew that was the other sovereign, which means he wasn't it. And that's why he said, there was this after laugh till before, I forget, it's probably after laugh till he said, when Riley asked him, like, who do you think it's going to be? And he says, my son, I bet.
Yeah, he says it's his son, but we know it wasn't his son. It was actually his son's friend, his son's brother.
Before he even had a kid either, which is funny.
Yo, good call out, King J. I saw the correction. Dawn of Ascension said probably a machine like PX's. PX,
what is a machine?
The robot.
Oh,
so the PX, they don't even give off a voice.
No, because they don't have they don't have a sentience. Because observation hockey, it works off of your sentience, your thoughts, your actions. They don't have that.
All right,
that's the robot.
Last point. In Sabaody, we see Shaki's rip-off bar. Rayleigh is drunk and says, I am just an old man now, and old people like Vegapunk shouldn't ruin the new young fun. Right, Roger? The end piece. 11:16 short summary. What do we give this from 1 to 10?
What do you say?
Well, I mean, I think the highlight is the fact that Mother Flame is a fuel source for an ancient weapon. We could sit here all day, talk about it was obvious, whatever. At the end of the day, it was a theory. So that's good. We didn't know for sure.
Good information.
I guess the reaction to Vivi's missing poster would be interesting. Or Emu staring at a portrait of someone that looks like Vivi. I guess it'd be Lily.
It would be Lily. We can, because we were, there's a couple points we can actually discuss about things about this, but, keep going.
I need a shout out to the boy Young Smokey with the 20.
Smokey W. Chat.
Smokey W. Wasn't someone, did I miss a membership earlier? No, I didn't. Pakes. Shout out to Pakes. But Young Smokey with the 20.
I think there was one in the very beginning, or am I wrong?
Yeah, it was Pakes. I got it. Young Smokey said, I know one thing Oda's putting a heavy focus on, Alabasta, aka Egypt. And Emu, I can't wait to go research some more Egyptian mythology. I think some of the answers we are looking for are going to be there with Nefertari Lily.
Interesting.
I do think that there's going to be a lot of information about the Void Century and Joy Boy and all that. That's going to be, going through the channel of Queen Lily. Guys, I just got a tweet. The chapter's only 13 pages long.
Oh, wow.
And there's a break next week.
Oh, no. Are you serious?
Yeah, this chapter is 13 pages long, and we have a break next week.
What is going on lately? We're just getting break after break after break with very little information or action happening. We've gotten some good lore, but still.
I mean, look at 11:15, 11:16.
Like they feel almost more like one and a half of a chapter or one whole like
One
big like
whole
more
chapter. Oda should
chapter.
have just combined 11:15 and 11:16. Just cut out all the extra fat and
He
just
should have
put
made an
the
extra
two
long
chapters to,
chapter.
yeah, just put it into one.
Might as well have because I mean, what's going? I mean, I do enjoy some of the panels of last chapter, like Venus Juro cutting Punk records in half. That was pretty hype.
King J said he's gonna read 1 page a day, 2 weeks until the next chapter.
That's pretty much the only thing you can do.
All right, so what is the highlight between 11:15 and 11:16?
I think it's what I just said, to be honest. Venus Juro cutting Punk records in half.
That's the highlight, really. 11:15, 11:16 is Venus. You sound like King J. King J, bro. He gives some crazy gok 12,000 to anyone with a sword. If they have a sword, King J, he's dropping neck.
Hey, I mean, like we need to see some feats from Venus that like hype him up to fight Zoro.
I mean, he cut
set up.
He got his feet because you already know, like now until the final war, every fucking One Piece fan is gonna be dick riding Venus until final war. All the way until final war, bro. All the way until final war, everyone's gonna dick ride Venus.
Do you think we'll see a clash between him and Zoro for a couple panels?
A warm up clash.
A warm up clash.
Chat, do we see Zoro having a clash of Venus before final war? King J said, if they have a sword, I'll have my word for them.
Bro's got an agenda.
Johan said, Emu is a pharaoh. Look at his crown. It's either Akhenaten or Ramses II. Wait, Ramses II. He did something important.
I know what you're talking about, but I'm good on certain lore, but not Egypt lore.
Yo, who here knows about Egyptian lore? I used a little bit of Egyptian lore when I was making one of the Sun God Nika videos like a long time ago, because I was comparing Imhotep from Egyptian theology and like Imhotep from the Mummy. And I compared him to Emu because there's a lot of things. Because Imhotep, right, for an example, he was obsessed with a woman named Nefertiti, and I think he wanted her to be his bride. So,
yeah, that ties into the Lily thing we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, it ties into the Lily thing, like Nefertiti, Nefertari, and then like Imhotep. But I think we can all agree that do we all agree though? Do you agree, Miles, that Emu is probably a collection of people like Satan,
absolutely.
Nero?
He's there. We got plenty. We got creatures. We got people. We have Emperor Nero. We have the devil, the Christian devil.
The Christian devil.
Possibly Davy Jones.
Do we have Hitler? Do we have Hitler? Emu's like Hitler.
No, it is because it was a genocide.
It was a genocide. But you know who
killed off multiple people and races, probably.
Okay, who else is killing off multiple people right now? It's not real. Akhenaten was one of the most sus pharaohs ever. Tried to make monotheism a thing. So what are the two ideologies that the ancient kingdom was fighting over?
Oh, that's what I wonder about, because here's what I think too is like Vegapunk did say like he doesn't know what's right or wrong. There's two ideologies being fought over. It's the same thing Clover actually alluded to. But we see that Emu and the Celestial Dragons, they're inherently evil. They call people insects. They are racist. They're genocidal. Just for the testing of a weapon, they destroyed an entire country of innocent people who were just trying to fight for their, the right to be human, have decency. But did they start out that way? That's the question.
Because, I think they did.
Well, go ahead. Well, because you know what? Because remember like how we did the whole Blackbeard Orochi thing? I think Emu Orochi also works.
You think
because I think Emu and Orochi could be a comparison, a foreshadow in the story because, and let me put it this way. Well, one, he was a yokai. I think he was the first yokai devil fruit we've ever seen.
Shit, he was one of the first yokai.
He was. Not to mention that, you know what I just thought of? I don't know why this popped in my head. It's just a random side fact. Boa Hancock's sister did the same thing, the Yamata no Orochi attack. And not to mention Amazon Lily.
Amazon Lily. Nefertari D. Lily.
So there's things tying these things together already. So, maybe Emu was someone who got subjugated for what their family did, got ostracized for what their family did. Maybe what Blackbeard might be going through, or what he used to go through. And then they wanted revenge, and they worked their way up to Joy Boy's friendship. And then when Joy Boy wanted to sail as the first pirate, a lot like Odin was the first pirate from Wano, he went out and sailed on his adventure. And Emu was like, I got this. I'll take care of the kingdom. And that was that. He pulled into Orochi. He took over things, convinced 20 other kingdoms to come to his side, like Orochi convinced Kaido to come to his side. And then he took over things. And that started a war.
I think the two ideologies that the Void Century was fought over was theocracy versus democracy. I actually think, like, for an example, Elbaf, Dory said that the people of Elbaf, they would always go to the sun god when they had problems, and the sun god would mitigate it and decide who to punish if someone needed to be punished. So, like, they themselves on Elbaf should have run on a theocracy. We know how they, throughout Big Mom's flashback at Elbaf, there was constant mentions of the sun god. We know that there's a Nika fable from Elbaf. There's constant connections between Sun God Nika and Elbaf, and I think like that's going to be one of the bigger factions or one of the bigger pieces to the Ancient Kingdom's mystery. But I say all that to say that I think the Ancient Kingdom was running off of a similar mindset where like the Ancient Kingdom, they believed in like the Bible. Kuma carries around the Bible, and like these guys have crosses. They probably had churches and they worshipped just like Kuma, but they were probably largely running off of a theocracy. So like all these people were worshiping a god, and like this god would make all the rules. This god would be the one that creates all the laws, through their religion, through their Bible. And it was probably Emu being so jealous of this god. Emu wanted to be the god, right? But how could he get the whole world on his team? He did. He went to 20 kings, he went to 20 nations, and he said, hey, we need to end theocracy. Why should we let all these countries just worship this god, like this sun god Nika guy? Why should we let them do that? We need a democracy. We're gonna go make something called a world government. It's gonna be a big ass castle, and everyone from around the world are going to come, and we're going to have a meeting. We're going to call it the Reverie. We're going to call it the United Nations General Assembly. Oh no, wait, we're going to call it the Reverie. We're going to sit down and cast all these votes. We're going to do polls, try to make laws together, but then it's all bullshit. It's not a democracy. It's an autocracy, because at the end of the day, Emu tricked those 20 nations into overthrowing the Ancient Kingdom. Emu tricked these 170 nations into thinking that it was a democracy, like these guys have power. But we know that when it really comes down to it, Emu's the one with the power. So the One Piece world with the world government faction, it's truly an autocracy, not a theocracy like how it used to be. I think like one of the biggest battles is going to be theocracy versus democracy, and then that would probably bleed into things like religion versus science, traditional values versus like, this new age thinking. Like I think Emu made a new world order, bro.
Well, you know what? It does work really well. I agree halfway. I think it's more like monarchy versus theocracy, not democracy, because we've never seen like anyone be voted for in the One Piece world, but we've also been shown that people like Korean monarchs, like Vivi's, the Nefertaris, the King Riku's, like we're shown that the kings can actually be good people and are usually good people, and they want to take care of their kingdoms in the best way. So we've been shown in the One Piece world, monarchs is not usually a bad thing. It's usually a good thing until people like Doflamingo come in and they take over, until people like Emu come in and they take over because they want what they think they deserve. So I agree, except for the democracy part of it, but I will say another aspect is because it's kind of interesting, because what do we have? We had the Ancient Kingdom, a single solidified group of people under one ruler, Joy Boy probably, against an allied nations, because that's what they were called before they were the world government, right?
Yeah, it was like 20 allied nations. I need to go see the actual Viz translation, because it reminded me of the United Nations again, because the United Nations was just allied nations, right?
Exactly. Well, that's exactly what it was. The same exact concept, different title, essentially. But it's kind of weird though, because when you think of it, multiple times in our own history, when we had allied nations against a single force that was trying to, put itself over other people. But here's the difference: in the ancient, in the Void Century, do you think that the Ancient Kingdom was trying to like spread its word across everywhere, like its way of living, or is it minding its own business and just spreading like goodness to everyone else?
It was probably spreading goodness. I think like the Ancient Kingdom and the people of the Void Century, the D Clan, they were probably were people that worship Sun God Nika for good things. Like Sun God Nika was not an unjust ruler. Like I think Oda's,
Liberation.
yeah, I think Oda's definitely going to go down the route where Sun God Nika and Joy Boy are like good guys. Like they're not the ones killing people. And I think Oda's going to go down the route where Emu tricks people and he backstabs people and he lies. Like I think that's the direction that Oda's going to go for.
Yeah, I agree with that because in real life, typically when you have an allied nation of like 20 different countries or factions, it's because there's one entity of quote unquote evil or just straight up evil that's trying to take over things in the wrong way. But One Piece doesn't typically portray things that way.
No,
So that's
it
what I was
doesn't.
saying. That's why I'm saying that like the democracy part, because we don't even. As far as I know, we haven't seen democracy in One Piece.
Well,
But
as far okay, so as far as the world government being based off the United Nations, like the
yeah.
United Nations, 193 people, the world government, 170 people. Both the United Nations and the world government, they have a chairman that rotates every session. They both meet up for like a few weeks out of the year. The United Nations is exactly like the One Piece world government, so that's why I say in terms of like a quote unquote democracy where they all meet up and they all like have a say, and like like the leaders and like the kings of these nations in the One Piece world, those are the guys that get put into the world government every meeting where they all talk, and it's just a fake democracy. It's really an
They do
autocracy.
vote on things. They're like the warlords.
So, but what I'm trying to say here is like it's a facade, right? Like these guys are meant to think like, oh, we all have a collected effort to run this world and keep us safe. Like, it's not true. Like Oda's trying to paint the picture that Emu is like the real one with like the supreme level of power. Emu could overwrite whatever the fuck anyone says. For that matter, the Gorosei can overwrite what anyone says. And that's why I compared the Gorosei to the United Nations Security Council. Because the United Nations Security Council has 5 members that are permanent. So I think it's interesting that the 5 strongest people in the world government almost seem to be permanent. And we could talk about like, they asked about the former world government, but
who they're based off of. Remember that too.
Yeah, and they all look like they're based off of different countries, different nations. Some are dictators. When I have a thread on Twitter about this, like the One Piece world government being based off real world United Nations, and one of the tweets in that thread was comparing the Gorosei to the 5 nations in the United States or in the United Nations Security Council, and that was one of the better performing tweets. I thought people were going to say it was reaching. Like I was comparing Venus to China.
Well, I mean, I think that's why, like, Venus because the finances.
The finances.
And China finances like the majority of the country. They bring out like some of the biggest revenue of the entire world. So I could see that really being a part of why they're tied into who they're tied into in certain ways.
Yeah.
Like that's why they're not just 5 guys who go to Emu and just make big decisions as a whole. Like
they got collective skills. They have expertise in certain areas, but
that's where they're the warrior god of their each expertise.
But I think like people really overlook that though. The world government is 170 nations, but there's only 5 of them that's the strongest. And Oda always drills it into our head that the Gorosei is the strongest of the world government. So you have to ask yourself, like, really, like you mean to tell me there's 170 nations? They all send kings to have this every meeting, but then there's 5 of them that's the strongest. Like that's why I think like. Hold on. That's why the Holy Knights. That's like a separate thing because like they're not attending the reverie. They don't have like world government power. I think they're kind of like bodyguards. True. But I get your point, anyways. I'm just saying like I think like Oda's depiction here in One Piece is to show us a world where like they have their own version of the United Nations and they just call it the world government, right? And like they have their own version of the UN Security Council, but they just call it the Gorosei. And like then like in their world, like their UN Security Council. Like their Gorosei has someone that they have to talk to, someone that they have to report to. Like I think like that's the parallel Oda's trying to make like in his story.
I fully agree. Yeah, I don't really see. I mean, like you could interchange a few things, but it still works the way you put it too. I fully agree with that.
So
you know what I would? Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I would say. You know what? As far as the Holy Knights, they're more like the military powers of the world government. Well, we have the 3 admirals who are supposed to be because Robin described them as the world government superpowers or the marine superpowers. Like they're the ones like who enforce everything when it comes down to the nail. But who are they enforced for at the end of the day? The world government, not against different kingdoms. Like when Luffy just punched one random inbred celestial dragon, an entire fucking fleet showed. Well, not a fleet, but you know what I mean. An entire navy battleship showed up with an admiral, a super strong admiral, mind you.
Totally
Just
off
for that.
topic. Totally off topic, but King J said, imagine if the photo Emu was looking at was a framed mirror instead. Personality switch done on Lily's body explains why Emu
I
has a
like
male
that.
voice and feminine silhouette.
I like that a lot, actually. Like,
Yo, so he's holding a mirror and it's his.
wait,
and
the
it's.
hint. The hint. It didn't have a. There was a frame with
But
no
see,
picture in it.
the thing is like the spoilers said that Emu stares at a portrait. Yo, that would actually be a
Okay.
cool reveal, though. Like, Oda reveals Emu's face because
Oh.
Emu's looking in a mirror.
I would love that, actually, dude. I mean, it probably is just a picture of Lily, but at the same time, it's like, how many times is he going to show us him looking at Vivi, Lily? But I mean, I do love that idea. That's actually incredible, like, as a reveal.
Yeah, that would be a good reveal.
Imagine he did that and made it look like a picture, but it wasn't.
So what do we think the ancient robot on Egghead is going to do for the remainder of this arc? What is his role? Because he's been entirely pointless.
So I think you and I discussed this a little bit before. The movie The Iron Giant. You've seen
The
that, right?
Iron Giant, bro, with Hogarth.
With
Hogarth. So what, Luffy's
Well,
Hogarth?
Yo, yeah, Luffy would be Hogarth because just like Hogarth, he loves robots. He was obsessing over it when he saw it. And now it's no coincidence that Joy Boy is one of his Nakama, like Zunisha, probably, was a giant robot. Not to mention, what happens at the end of The Iron Giant, the robot protects everyone from a giant atom bomb.
Giant atom bomb. Because in the movie Iron Giant, they were shooting a rocket from the air in the sky. No, actually, they shot it off of a ship, and it went into the sky, and then it was going to go straight back down onto the earth. So when it was in the sky, the Iron Giant said, yo, Hogarth, bro, I'm going to die. I got you, bro. Have a nice life, bro. He jumps up, fucking flies into the sky. Boom. So what would be the parallel between the Iron Giant and One Piece? Would the Iron Giant like jump up into the sky and like punch Mother Flame or like tank Mother Flame in the sky?
I was gonna say, I do think that they're gonna get desperate enough that a Mother Flame might get involved. And what this robot would do is reveal that it's not just a robot who's walking around. He's giant. He's made of strong material. He can punch and kick. No, he actually has some hyper advanced technology in him. Because remember, look how advanced what Vegapunk is made, and he said that's nothing compared to the ancient kingdom, which means this robot has to be a lot more advanced than we realize.
It has to be.
It must have some advanced tech in it, like lasers or rockets.
Well, when are we going to see that
flying.
tech? When are we going to see the tech of the ancient robot? He hasn't done anything. All he did was turn on his eyeballs. He stood up and started walking. I need to see something.
Yeah, that has been so frustrating. I mean, for God's sake, what was it before the 3-week break? We got a chapter where it ended with the robot finally waking up. He said, "I'm sorry, Joy Boy," and then he fucking vanished for 3 weeks.
He vanished.
And then when we came back, we haven't seen anything from him since. For like, what, a month and a half now? 2 months?
Enryu Tower said, "What if the Denden Mushi stored in the iron, or what if the Denden Mushi is stored in the Iron Giant, and now York figured out where it is, and the Gorosei obviously get in a battle with it?" We talked about that earlier.
Yeah, we were discussing that earlier. I think it's actually more likely in York herself.
You think it's
Or
in
it could be
York?
the Iron Giant. I think it's in York.
Ha-
All she does is eat things. She's also an organic being, unlike the Iron Giant.
Wait. So someone in the chat, random YouTube user, they mentioned that Cobra looked at Emu, right?
Cobra saw Emu.
So you believe Cobra knows what Emu looks like? He was like Emu wasn't a shadow. Like,
oh, you know what? That's a good point, because if he saw what Emu looked like, he would say, "Wait a minute, why do you look like my
you look like Vivi.
You look like my daughter. What's going on here?"
Yeah. Whoa. Wait a minute. Yeah. If Cobra saw Emu, why didn't he react to Emu's face if Emu looks like Lily?
Unless Emu looks to him like he does to all of us. Like, well, you got to think about it this way. Like, he was far up there, but this is also One Piece. Things like that don't typically matter, so that does kind of shatter the theories that he's Lily. in Lily's body.
I don't know if
Oh
we get a
shit.
chapter where Emu looks like Queen Lily, are we gonna turn around and then question the Cobra situation? Are we gonna look
Hell
at Cobra
yes.
and be like, "Yo, why didn't you say something?"
Absolutely. Well, unless we see that Emu like covers their face, which I mean, don't you think they kind of would?
Okay, but do we really want Emu to look like Queen Lily? Is this how we want to end the story? I want Emu to look like, well, first of all, Emu had perpetual youth, so I guess
Yeah.
like their aging had to have stopped at some point. But I think
Well,
Emu's gonna
yeah.
look like evil, like sapphire scales on his face, just look like a fucking
Nah.
satanic like demon,
Maybe,
bro.
maybe his original look because I'm still like very feeling certain. I'm like 90% sure right now that Emu took over the body of a three-eyed tribe woman to try and read the poneglyphs to find the ancient weapons besides Uranus. I
Hmm.
still think it's very likely because we've got so many characters who foreshadow emo. I mean, think about it. We got Doflamingo, we got Enel, we have Pudding even a little bit because she erases memories of people like in their existences. That's something that's kind of emo-ish.
See,
But
that's
Sugar,
definitely emo-ish. Why do people never like? You don't really see people compare Dressrosa as an arc to the Ancient
no.
Kingdom and the Void Century. Like, you literally had this whole aspect where like Sugar is dehumanizing people, turning them into toys, and like somehow by doing that, they are like erased from people's brain. That's just like how the
Hmm.
world government continuously erases people, erases tribes, erases islands.
Exactly. Well, I was gonna. This is kind of like a little like this is a little bit tinfoil, but just hear me out. And I've probably said this one to you before, but I'm not sure if you remember. So sugar, like we talked about, like a lot of people know, most likely foreshadows emu. They got the hood on, they have the crown over it.
I know where this is
They,
going.
you know what I'm gonna say? They
Go ahead,
have
let
the
the chat
drag.
know.
All right, chat. So listen to this one and let me know what you guys think after I say it. So I'm saying that emu might be a person, a man who took over the body of a three-eyed tribe person, a woman specifically. And we have Sugar, who, like emu, seems to be wearing a hood with a crown on it and can erase existences and memories. But what do we also know about Sugar? They have a certain look to them. They're wearing specifically a Dragon Ball Z Scouter. A Dragon Ball Z Scouter. And
So
what's the
Emu has a Dragon
capability?
Ball Z Scouter.
Yeah, if you look at Sugar, she's wearing a
But
Scouter.
okay, so here's my thing, right? We've seen Emu holding a wanted poster. We've seen Emu holding a sword. We've even seen Emu walk up staircases and sit on a chair. Like, it doesn't appear to me that Emu's a child.
Well, did you see the sound effect when Emu sat down? Thump, like she
Thump.
jumped, like they jumped up and like thumped onto the
Ah, come
chair.
on, bro. They Emu jumped up and thumped onto the chair.
That I mean, it doesn't have to be a kid, but the most important part is that what does a Scouter do from Dragon Ball Z?
It
It lets
sees
you look.
people's power level.
You get to look into their spirit, into their energy, a lot like what the voice of all things could possibly be described as doing.
I
You
don't
get
know,
to hear
man.
into someone's spirit.
All I'm
It's like a
saying
third eye. It's like a third eye.
All I'm saying is from every Emu panel, they don't seem like a child. I mean, like Emu would have been a lot smaller holding the sword, for an example.
I mean, I don't think Emu is necessarily a child. I just think
Okay,
that
so
they're a
how
lot.
tall do you think Emu is? Taller than Luffy?
Probably, yeah.
The chat's with you on this one, bro. They're with you, Miles.
The only
Wait,
reason I can't
actually,
pick that
no.
right
I take
now.
that back. Half of them say that you're spitting utter garbage, and then the other half is calling you Jesus himself.
Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, sometimes you split down the middle.
Look, I got this panel of Emu, right? When he had the sword and he was stabbing the wanted posters. That doesn't
Hmm.
look like a child, bro. Chat, you're telling me
I
this is a
oh,
child?
you got to hear me out on this one though. I got one more point to prove the point.
Let me hear your
So,
point, bro. Let me hear your point.
what is Sugar? Sugar is a person much older than they seem to be, right? So what is
Yeah.
Emu? An immortal, over almost 1,000 years old, most likely, much older than they seem to be. So Emu doesn't have to be a child to be the same as Sugar. Immortal, not aging.
So you think Luffy's gonna? Okay, so in the context, right, in the possibility that Emu is a child of some sort, is the finale of Luffy, or is the finale of One Piece Luffy beating the shit out of Kid?
Of a kid or kid like the Eustace Kid.
Hopefully it's Eustace Kid, just so we could like, really like after Luffy defeats Emu and saves the world, Luffy just
Someone
should just
gotta
go
put him in his
beat
place.
kids ass just for doing it. And
You
Tomorrow
had this
Black.
You had this insane fruit. You have Conqueror's Haki, and you did what with it?
You know,
got
Kid-
one shot by Shanks.
Kid could be like top 15, top 10 so easily. All he would have to do,
Exactly.
put a positive magnetic charge on the bottom of Big Mom's body and then put a positive charge on her skull. Her body is literally going to be torn
my
in
God.
half. Or just do it with negatives.
diabolical.
Bro, Kid, he'd be broken. When Kid fought Big Mom, he should have put a negative charge on her head and a negative charge on her waist, and her body would have been torn in half. Come on,
You know what I
Eustace
wonder?
Kid.
You know what? That's diabolical.
But Kid, would he not be like 1,000 times stronger?
Dude, did Kid even use hockey, like armament hockey, once, ever? Do we know that he did that?
Bro, the only hockey we've seen from him is like bullshit Conquerors. Didn't he fail
it's,
to knock out fodder? Like he used Conquers, and I don't even think he knocked out the fodder.
Was that in the manga or anime?
It was in the anime. Did Kid not use Conquers in the anime? Kid used
he did,
Conquers.
He did the same thing that Zoro did.
Wait,
that
so-
killer anime thing, but didn't knock anyone out.
So Oda's gonna give Kid Conquers, but he's not gonna give Trafalgar D. Waterlog Conquers.
I don't know, man. I mean, like, do you think Law is a Conqueror user? Like, do you
Bro,
think?
Law
I'm not
is
so sure.
Law made a vow to Corazon. Law made a vow to Robin that he is going to learn the checkered fate, the will of D. He's a D clan member. Is Kid?
Yeah, but
is
not
Kid?
a D-Clan member.
Okay, do
We
you
have
really
it.
you really want? Oh, you want to debate? Are you gonna be on Team Kid right now, and I'm Team Law? Because I got 1,000 reasons why Law's better.
Okay, just because I'm saying that Law probably doesn't conquer hockey does not mean I'm defending Kid. Kid is a fraud.
Kid is a fraud.
Conqueror's hockey. He needs to pass his Conqueror's hockey to Law right now.
He needs to pass his
Conquerors.
Conquerors to Usopp. I'll take one for the team. We should trade Kid's Conquerors to Usopp.
Usopp already has it, dude, on his own merit.
Yo,
Cyber King, really.
we gotta say what's up to a few people. Al was good, bro.
Let's do that.
Alejandro was good, bro. Jamal was good, bro. Anime fan, Maddie, Spawn.
What's good, chat?
Nah, Tiante, I have every right to hate, to quote unquote, hate on Kid, because when
So do I.
when I was doing the live reactions, right, when the chapters were dropping, I was live reacting throughout the Law Kid Big Mom fight. I was reacting and defending Kid the entire time. I was defending Kid up until the moment he decided he was fighting Shanks again. That was the final straw. I can't keep defending him. I was the only one defending Kid when he was fighting Big Mom, bro. I swear nobody else was. But I can't take it anymore. Why is he going against Shanks? Kid is arrogant, bro.
Well, the fact that we found out it wasn't even Shanks who took his arm, it was frickin' Beckman. He didn't even see Shanks last time.
Bro, it wasn't even him.
And then as soon as he met Shanks, what happened? He got blitzed into one hit with
got
Kid,
blitzed.
with Killer in front of him. Killer blocked the initial hit,
He got
the
blitzed.
blunts of it. It was over before it started.
Kid has no
50%.
chance. He has zero chance of taking on the Red Hair Pirates. Even if he
And I
somehow
thought-
got lucky and somehow tripped up Shanks, there's no way that the fucking Kid Pirates are gonna take on the Red Hair Pirates. Bro.
Zenria says, Mr. Miles, Emu is Don Krieg's cousin because of the Katok sound effect. What is the Katok sound effect?
The when Emo was walking through the fucking
Isn't that what York
chamber.
did too?
Oh, we're not, bro. Don't tell me we're fucking sound effects scaling. Sound
That's
effect
like
One Piece
sound-
theories. We need to start connecting the sound
sound
effects in One Piece.
We're gonna power scale off sound effects. That's what
I
we're
mean,
gonna start
people
doing.
power scale off of sweat.
Well, wait, you mean like S-Hawk?
Yes, bro. People power scale off of sweat. It's called sweat scaling. They will literally
Sweat
count the
scaling.
amount of sweat droplets on someone's face in the raws.
That is unironically the sweatiest Reddit, Twitter thing I've ever heard in my life.
Bro, that's like when you're playing like a fighting game and like the guy you're playing against is like frame perfect. Like he studies the frames. Like, bro, come
Oh
on.
God, dude, like that's too much. Yeah, I know what you're talking about because I like Smash Bros.
So you've played against people that study frames, frame data.
No, literally, no, I've like had people try to describe it to me. I'm like, dude, I don't care. I'm never gonna study that shit. I'm gonna play for fun or play whatever, but I'm not gonna study goddamn frame by frame everything.
You know what
Too
Tiante
much.
said? Tiante said,
What did he
bro,
say?
gain your faith back and you have to believe once again in Kid, my brother.
You
You
mean the
want me to
guy at the
repent?
bottom of the sea?
You want me to repent for what? For not having faith in Kid? I was defending Kid. Who was defending Kid when they were
Man.
fighting Big Mom? I was one of the people arguing that Kid did the same amount of damage to Big Mom that Law did, if not
I'd
more.
say I was gonna say I think he did more. He was a
Because
lot more blunt and crazy.
Because if you go back to the Big Mom fight of Kid and Law, and you actually sit down and pull up Viz.com, and you actually look at the pages, and you actually look at the panels, you could see like almost every single time Law had an attack on Big Mom was because Kid created the exchange. Kid was the one that was charging in and trying to blitz and attack Big Mom the whole fight, and Law was staying back, and Law even had comments about staying back while Kid was blitzing, while Kid was trying to attack Big Mom. But I can't defend Kid after he decided to go to the Red Hair Pirates again. It's just irritating. Kid and his crew, irritating.
He broke her arm. I will say that.
Kid broke Big Mom's arm.
He did. Remember when he did Punk con la Dio?
When did he break Big Mom's arm?
When he did Punk con la Dio? When he did the big bull? When he
Yo,
rammed her into the wall.
Zeniris in chat is saying Kid is so strong versus East Blue. Bro. East
What?
Blue. We're gonna compare Kid to the East Blue. Okay, for that matter, fucking Kobe shits on East Blue. I think Kobe right now would be Arlong. Is that a hot take?
What do you mean it's a hot take? Did you see Honesty Impact, or are we forgetting about that? That man is on like at least half Garp level.
Half
Now.
Garp level.
I mean, well, look at Galaxy Impact, which is like about twice as big.
What's
third
good,
as
Kai?
big.
What's good, Kai? Kai said Magneto would get rocked by most of the OP universe. Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong.
Okay, well, Alucard could literally neg diff the entire cast. I don't even
Are you
think.
bringing up Hellsing right now?
I'm just being real. Okay, name one One Piece character that beats Alucard. Who beats Give me one One Piece character that beats Alucard. Give me one.
Stussy.
Oh my, yo,
He's
Miles.
a vampire. Or a succubus.
Miles, you're getting kicked out the VC for that one.
Okay, for real though,
Alucard is beating the One Piece cast. I'm sorry.
Whitebeard, bro. In
Bro,
prime.
even in Hellsing, there's that one guy, Luke Valentine, a white blonde
Yeah.
guy that Alucard fought. Even Luke Valentine would beat most of the One Piece cast. He's broken.
Yeah, I mean, they speed blitzed them alone, to be honest, from what I remember.
Macau Jordan said Kid is low-key broken. Oda just uses him as a plot device to help get Big Mom out of the picture and bring Shanks into the action or into the race for the One Piece. Bro.
I mean,
I think Kid is he's wasted potential.
he's absolutely wasted potential. I mean, why did Oda even tell us he has Conqueror's Hockey? Like, tell me that. What was the reasoning? What was the plot narrative for that? That's a big deal.
I think it's just unfair that Kid would have Conquerors, but Law wouldn't. Like, we know
I think
Law.
neither of them should.
First, I think Law should, because first of all, D-Clan member. Second of all, and extremely integral to the story. Third of all, compare him to people who have Conquerors. Fourth of all, he has a dream. Law actually has a goal. That's one of my biggest critiques about certain One Piece characters is what is their dream? Lucci has zero dream. He's garbage character. Lucci is one of the worst written characters in One Piece. Hands down. At least Law has a dream. He's trying to get...
Wait. How is Lucci one of the worst? Wait, in what way?
You,
'Cause I
bro,
wanna figure this out.
Lucci is one of the worst... You didn't know that?
No, I just want to
Lucci
figure
is
out
an
what your reasoning is.
abomination. If we're talking about One Piece being an odyssey, One Piece being this amazing, vast, gorgeous world, Lucci is one of the worst written characters.
No, you know what I think it is? I think I'm right there with Zenrius right now because the anime, it hyped him up so much that he just seemed.
Okay,
It was only because he fought Luffy. It's only because he fought Luffy that he came off so just dog shit.
let me tell you why Lucci's so bad. He was introduced as being a member of CP9, and the only reason why people liked him towards the end of Water 7 was because of that whole twist that they were the ones trying to kill Iceberg in Water 7. Fast forward, we get to Enies Lobby and we get to see Lucci's character. Lucci's entire persona is kill, 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 kill. There's literally no dream nor no goals. He looks at Spandam and he says, I don't need to report to you. I'm only here to kill. He doesn't even respect the Celestial Dragons during Enies Lobby. His entire character was kill, kill, kill. So what ends up happening? He ends up being an L character that can't even take out pre-time skip Luffy, pre-hockey trained Luffy. He takes the L, right? Boom. Wipe our hands clean. We go into post-time skip. Now all of a sudden, Lucci's promoted to CP0. And all of a sudden, he worships the Celestial Dragons. And he talks about how they're the gods of the world. Where is this newfound love for the Celestial Dragons? And why are you promoted? Lucci has no
humbled.
dream, no aim, no goals. There's going to be no explanation as to how he awakened his fruit. He's just not a good character. I think characters like Doflamingo have a way better backstory. Characters like Arlong have way better context.
I think Lucci did have one big L, or not L, I'm sorry, one big W in this arc. It was him asking for, he's asking Mars
for Kaku.
I think that was
okay.
A w
Well,
on his part.
at least he can do that. Fine, whatever. We'll call a spade a spade. I'll give him +1 points for caring about Kaku. I just don't think Lucci has any kind of aim. He has no backstory. He has no ambition to do anything. It's just kill.
He's a product of the system that he was raised into, like, you know, like
people.
We're seeing some character growth with him. He even fought with Luffy. To fight Esper, I think it was.
Okay, people will look at Zoro and they'll say like, oh, Zoro's just all about the action. He has no backstory. Zoro just wants to kill. Zoro has a much better backstory, a much better character, a much better drive, a much better dream, much better everything than Lucci. People only like Lucci because people only like Lucci because obviously Enies Lobby's peak fiction, right? And he was the big bad that had to go down. He's not a good character.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, he's a bad guy, but I mean, it's just, dude,
let me shit on Lucci. Let me shit on him.
I just really enjoyed what he did, like, during this arc. Like, he proved himself. It's just that he was going up against a guy who was way too strong, is out of his league. Put him against, like, other people, like, he would come out on top.
Hey.
Awakened, Haki, Rokushiki.
Look, I got Doflamingo. Doflamingo's a better villain. Arlong's a better villain. Crocodile's a better villain. Blackbeard's a better villain. Fucking Buggy, better villain.
Buggy's a better villain?
Yes.
Buggy even a villain?
He's an enemy. He's an enemy and he's leading Cross Guild. He's not on Team Luffy. He's going for the One Piece.
Guess so. But he can't do anything. Like, he can't fight.
He has Cross Guild on his team, bro. Cross Guild is the new Rocks Pirates.
Well, I mean, you know how I feel about that. I mean, like, I'm gonna show everyone my profile picture right now in the chat.
Dude, does the chat agree? Does the chat agree that Buggy is the son of Roxy Zebek?
Look at my profile picture, chat.
Buggy is Roxy Buggy, and it's not even a meme, bro. That's the thing.
No, I've been on this for a long time, and I'm waiting until it comes to pass.
Tiante, you're gonna sit there in the chat and you're gonna say no, fuck no, hell nah. Because you haven't been enlightened yet. You know the allegory of the cave by Plato? You know the allegory of the cave where you're sitting in the cave and you're looking at shadows dancing on the walls? Tiante, you have not stood up and looked at the fire. You have not stood up and looked at what's creating those shadows. Buggy is the son of Zebek. You need to come to the light. When you first discover the Roxy Buggy theory, it's like losing your virginity. It's like you have a new aspect, a new outlook on life.
I mean, we all thought that that Buggy was gonna be a celestial dragon, but no, that's Shank's role. He's the celestial dragon.
We knew
He's
Shanks.
meeting up with What the gore say?
We knew Shanks was going to be a celestial dragon. Come on. How long ago was it? How long ago was it where we had the Garling chapter? I immediately put out that Shanks video and I'm like, yo, the reason why Shanks is coming to the Gorosei is because he has celestial dragon blood. He has Figurland blood. That's why Figurland Garling is 1-to-1 with Shanks, right? They're related. That's why. So it always seemed to me that Shanks has, again, celestial dragon blood, but he's a good guy. Shanks isn't out here trying to kill Luffy, trying to manipulate Luffy.
Is he though?
He's,
or is he not?
I think, if anything, he's trying to protect Joy Boy, but he's trying to let Joy Boy live his life. Like Shanks being a Roger pirate. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. You're good.
Shanks being a Roger pirate, you know, the Roger pirates learned the truth of the world. Shanks is a good guy, and what he's doing is he's like, yo, these celestial dragons, the Gorosei, they care about genealogy, they care about bloodlines, they care about family dynasties. Well, luckily for me, Garling never left Marie-Joie, but Doflamingo, his father, Homing, he left Marie-Joie. So that's why the Gorosei look at Doflamingo and they're like, oh, well, your father left, so fuck you. Now, but then on top of that, I don't even think the Don Quixote family is as established or as integral to the Celestial Dragons as, say, Figurland. I think that Oda's going to portray like a scenario where the Figurland family is like one of the top bloodlines because they were known to do this, and Garling ran the Holy Knights. Like, I think they're going to treat the Figurland family as like fucking gods. What do you think?
I mean, they might as well. Well, no, I agree with that because, you know, because the thing is, even before God Valley actually went down, and like he was, you know, we don't know exactly how God Valley went. Like, we just know that everyone fought against each other. I would not be surprised if Whitebeard clashed with Garling specifically, because what did he say? Your face, when he talked to Shanks, who came in a ship. When I think of you, I think of that man, and it annoys me. And at the time, we thought he was talking about Roger, but now do we think he was talking about Garling? What do you think?
No, I agree with that assessment, but what does Eli think?
Can you repeat it? What's up, Eli? Can you repeat that?
Your buggy take. Oh shit, we got a theory from King J.
What do we got?
He said, theory, why Emu being a kid has been foreshadowed for 20 years and why it will not ruin the endgame fight. Oh, King J's trying to shit on me, bro. King J, you just said the whole opposite of what I was saying.
Hey, well, King J's with me, and I like that.
Oh, man.
King J.
In every
King J.
In every important arc, there will be a little girl Luffy can't beat and loses a fight against. Mrs. Golden Week would control Luffy and his emotions and hence defeated him, but Usopp saved him. Perona would control people's emotions and defeated Luffy in one shot, but Usopp saved him. Sugar can control people and had eternal youth, and Usopp saved him. Luffy's biggest power back then was his willpower, and that's what all three of these women took away. Usopp without willpower was a direct counter. Emu will be a direct counter to either willpower, hockey, or maybe a direct encounter to Nika's imagination. Emu in this silhouette has long hair and big eyes, which is the facial proportion of a little girl. The Emu fight doesn't get ruined if it's Luffy versus a small kid, because Emu will have a badass yokai form as shown in this manga, or shown in this image, and Emu will even use one more personality switch to a different body.
But why? Yeah.
All right.
How's Emu going to do that if Law is the op to it?
Wait, what do you mean?
Well, let's just pretend all of this is fact or very close to it. The last point he just made was Emu's going to switch to a new body using the personality switch. You need the op fruit user to do that. But Law's got that fruit, and Law's not going to be there doing that for Emu, I'm sure.
No. He's saying that Emu's already in a little girl's body.
Oh, like the last point was about seeing like how like that's how Emu's in the little kid's body.
Yeah. He's already in the child's body. That's what King J is saying.
I thought he was saying like he was gonna switch to a new body, like a new body. I misheard you then.
Tiante said, to be honest, if Emu was a kid, then it would make it even more horrifying because he'd be similar to Akira.
Oh God, that is horrifying. I don't want to imagine that. Well, Oda doesn't do body horror. That wouldn't go that route.
Do you think the name Luffy comes from Loki's mother named Lofri? Oda likes Vikings, so Nordic mythology? Lofri. Wait, wasn't there a guy named Laffy? Isn't there like there's like a story or some Nordic story about some dude named Laffy? Luffy?
Nordic story?
Yeah, there's some kind of like Nordic story. There's some kind of Norse story or mythology of like some guy named Laffy or Luffy or something like that.
Laffy. Let me check this out. Let me find out.
Well, there's Loki.
No, not Loki. Not Loki. It's literally like Laffy or I forgot what it is.
Loki in Elbaf, so like that wouldn't be.
Uta is another Emu foreshadow. Yeah, because Emu's gonna create the whole world. Maybe that's the counter to like Luffy's imagination. Like, what if like similar to like let's say the Katakuri fight, where like they were in a mirror world. Maybe Emu plays off of Uta because like Uta creating her like dream world or whatever. Maybe Emu can create a world. Like if Luffy's within like 100 yards of Emu, Luffy's trapped in Emu's world, and then like that's the counter to Luffy's imagination, and he has to have hockey to overpower.
So Emu has domain expansion?
Yeah, I don't know about JJK, but domain expansion. They expand the domain and they control everything in the domain.
3 volt.
It's like lost fruit.
Go ahead.
Okay, they said it's Laffy. Laufey. Laffy.
Laffy.
Yeah,
okay,
Laffy.
I'll look that up.
Shout out to Antoine with the 2. Thank you, bro. Lily was changed to the elephant that's in Wano. Yo, you think Lily is Zunisha? Damn. Does the word Zunisha does Zunisha translate to something? Like, is that an actual word?
Oh, there's 2 things I think of. One is Ganesha, obviously.
Ganesha. Oh, you know about that one. Ganesha. Shout out to my boy King J.
Yeah, and then 2 would be there is a giant elephant in a certain culture that ties into this, that someone said like this could be the devil fruit that Lily or someone else might have taken, and now they're stuck in this form, this mythical giant elephant devil fruit.
I think Ganesha is a good option for Zunisha. Just the simple fact. Oh shit, Eli didn't know.
What?
Eli didn't know we were live. Okay.
Oh.
Listen,
That's
Eli.
funny.
Eli, all you need to know is in Hinduism, there's an elephant human named Ganesha because Ganesha's mother, I guess they cut off the head of Ganesha and they went to a forest and they had to grab the first animal they saw, and they saw an elephant. So they put the head of an elephant on the body of Ganesha, and Ganesha was friends with Hanumanji, the monkey god. And Hanumanji was important because he ate the sun thinking it was a fruit, right? And he had magical powers. And, you know, Hanumanji never awakened his power, specifically awakened, because he never awakened it until he met a bear. He had to meet like this intelligent bear that taught Hanumanji how to awaken.
And you know what? That ties into this whole thing really well is because they were a human and they were essentially turned into an elephant, aka whether it's Lily or someone else, they were turned into an elephant through a Zoan devil fruit.
So going back,
specifically mythical Zoan.
So going back to Antoine's super chat, Lily was changed to an elephant that's in Wano. Going back to Lily is Zunisha, what is the % chance of that being true?
I don't think it's that likely, to be honest.
Damn, because I would wonder, like, why would they change names? I guess that would be a great way to hide things, but like
it'd be like a counterpart to the Nika fruit being changed names.
But wouldn't Zunisha? Well, actually, Zunisha's a man though, because we heard Zunisha was speaking in Wano and Zunisha was speaking in Zou, and wasn't it a man? It was like a deep man.
I was gonna say that maybe the elephant fruit or whatever that she took, quote unquote, was true, but no, because they were talking through their mind, not their voice. It was
a deep masculine voice during Zou.
It's a male elephant. That's what it is.
Yeah, because in Zou, Zunisha was speaking, and it was a man. It was a man speaking. Remember?
It was a,
And
it
in
was a deep
Wano.
male voice.
Okay, but Joy
It's a man.
Zunisha didn't do nothing at Wano. Zunisha was complete waste of pages and panels in Wano.
Was Ganesha a man or a woman?
Ganesha was a boy.
Exactly.
Yo, King J, Ganesha was a boy, right?
Oh, but I wanted to bring something up involving Emu and the woman-man thing. Have you heard what I had to say about Crocodile, Threevil?
What did you say about that?
Crocodile, and this is the chat as well, of course. I believe that Crocodile is the inverse of Emu. He's a man who used to be a woman. A woman turned man. Not just that, just listen, just hear me out. He wanted a drought instead of a flood. He wanted a single ancient weapon, Pluton, to create his own utopia. A lot like what you guys were talking about before, how Uta wants her own utopia, which foreshadows Emu wanting his own utopia. So it's an inverse. Someone who wants a drought instead of a flood, someone who is a man to woman, woman to man, someone who wants to get an ancient weapon, but he wanted the earth weapon, while Emu wants the sky weapon. To destroy an island in one shot.
All right, fair enough. You get all of those points except the. Would it be offensive if I said except the trans part? It's not because they would be trans. It's just more so for the fact that Crocodile was not a fucking woman.
I am telling you, Crocodile was a woman. Was he Luffy's mom? That's what he's saying.
Okay, but come on. If you look, Miles, you're not baiting me into Crocomom, bro.
He even has a face scar.
Are you baiting me into Crocomom?
I might be.
Bro, when we
You never know what's...
Come on. When Ivankov was talking about Crocodile's secret, which in reality, Ivankov was talking about Crocodile's weakness, it was referring to the liquid in water. That's bro, no, because listen, because Ivankov was saying, I know what your weakness is. And it's obviously liquid. That's how Luffy figured out that he beat Crocodile, right? That's how Luffy figured it out, because the liquid. So he was using water, he was using blood. That was Crocodile's weakness, and that was a very important point in Alabasta. So with Luffy standing right there, knowing about Crocodile's weakness, I think that's the joke of it. Like he beat Crocodile because Crocodile's liquid weakness, not because Crocodile's a fucking woman.
I can tell you why that doesn't make sense. Hockey.
Why?
Hockey. Everyone has hockey in the New World. They don't even need that.
Miles, you wouldn't last a day in the New World.
Well,
you wouldn't last a single night.
If I knew his weakness, I would. Which is that he was a woman. He was a girl.
Johan.
X chromosome.
Here, I'm gonna let you answer this question, Miles. Johan said, or I guess Johan asked, do you think the giant straw hat has a connection with Uranus?
Oh, you know what? Well, because the straw hat, it looks like a kind of a spaceship if you look at the shape. If I have to give an answer to this that says yes, and so here's what I'll say. It looks like a spaceship in its shape. It's what Emu is holding on to. We now know for a fact because of the spoilers, Emu has Uranus.
Yo, could you imagine if like they stole Mother Flame and they put it into that giant hat and like the hat was able to fly around and shoot? Oda would do some bullshit. What's good, Sebastian?
Emu's just flying the straw.
Emu's piloting the. You look, Emu has the straw hat and flipped it upside down, so it's like a cup. And Emu's like sitting in the cup, and Emu flew the straw hat all the way to Lelucia and zapped that bitch.
Like a frisbee.
Like a frisbee, yeah.
Like a frisbee.
Bro, Oda would do some goofy shit like that, though.
Oh my god. Well, you know what I think of? Like the first thing I think of, I'm not sure why is coming to my mind, is when Ace and Blackbeard clashed. And what do we see in their big final clash? You know, Entei versus a Black Vortex, or not Black Vortex, whatever, just some nameless dark attack that Blackbeard threw back at Ace from his Sun God attack. It was a gear versus a straw hat.
Oh, gear versus straw hat. I know what you're talking about.
I don't think Luffy's gears are only going to be tied to him. I think they're going to tie into some other stuff as well, namely the ancient weapons.
To answer your question, was it Antoine? Antoine, my personal prediction on your question was if the straw hat Emu has is related to no, it wasn't Antoine. Who was it that asked that? Oh, it was Johan. Johan, to your question, if the giant straw hat is connected to Uranus, I would say no, because I would say it's more so connected to Joy Boy, and I think Oda's gonna go down a different channel that way. So like you could try to argue though, like, oh well, Joy Boy, he's from the ancient kingdom, and like he had the ancient weapons, and like the ancient kingdom, they had the ancient weapons. So I guess you can argue that, but like I think it's just going to be more about Joy Boy. It's going to be like a souvenir of Joy Boy, maybe some kind of weapon or tool, some kind of like function to the hat, something related to Joy Boy. I just don't think it's going to be down the channel of Uranus. I think Uranus is going to be some fucking machine that they had saving this whole time, just like in real life. Like it's just like in real life, like the real world, chat, in case you don't know, whether you're in America, Russia, or the US, or I'm sorry, China, Russia, or the US, there are defense contractors that are reverse engineering UFOs, crashed craft, and they hide these UFOs, and they hide these crash retrieval programs through what they were doing with the Manhattan Project, as far as the nuclear act goes. Because if they recover materials that they say is like radioactive, and you know that are like nuclear based weapons, nuclear based technology, they can instantly classify those projects, and that's how they get away with it. But anyways, that's what I believe that they did with I guess Uranus, the world government, really having this craft.
So I just want to ask you real quick before we move to the next subject. What do you think? I mean, do you think, which I already know the answer, but I want to hear like what you're saying about it. What do you think the tie-in, or what do you think the tie-in is from Roswell to Uranus?
Roswell, bro, he's cooking. This man name dropped Roswell on the stream. King J, I'll get to that in a second. So yeah, I genuinely think that there is a flying craft, and it flew to Lelucia, and its fuel source, its weaponry is Mother Flame. We've been saying this for fucking months, that there's something flying around, and it zapped Lelucia, and the way it was zapping and destroying them, like what fueled it was Mother Flame. Like that was the fuel. It was the Mother Flame would be the fuel source to some kind of weapon. And like, I think this weapon, you know, this ancient weapon is going to be a flying aircraft, whether it looks like a flying saucer, some kind of like weird triangle pyramid UFO. It's going to be some kind of flying aircraft that's able to fucking zap Mother Flame lasers out of it. It's going to be a UFO, bro. Come on. You don't think Oda, this silly man Oda, wouldn't draw something like that? A UFO? There's aircraft in NL's cover story. There's literally spaceships in NL's cover story. You can see them. There's 3 of them. There's the Arc Maxim. There's one that's on the left side of the page when you see the dog guy having the conversation about the excavation project. And then there's a big ass spaceship that NL climbed on top of before he fought the dog guy. You remember how NL fought the dog space pirate? He got on their airship. Yeah. He got on a fucking spaceship.
So, remember I was telling you that the Pluton blueprints were not the only blueprints as a counter weapon to a real ancient weapon?
Yes.
So now that we know for sure Emu has Uranus, essentially, I mean, let's be honest, I mean, it's Uranus. It has to be, by process of elimination. So I think what Arc Maxim was the Pluton or the Uranus version of blueprints that Frankie had for Pluton. You know why I know this? Because there was world government symbols on it.
There was world government symbol. You're talking about the Arc Maxim.
Arc Maxim. Yep. It was a counter weapon to Uranus.
See, I appreciate you putting mentioning that on the stream, because I tweeted about it and I used it in videos like a really, really long time ago. Chat, look at this. This is literally the world government symbol. It is the exact same symbol. But moreover, we know that the Arc Maxim has a face on it. Who the fuck is that face modeled after? You have to wonder. Ooh. Why would they put that face on the ship? Remember, NL grabbed ex-soldiers from, what's his name, Gonfall, and he forced them to make the Arc Maxim. Why would he put that face on the machine, this flying machine? There must be a reason that he put the symbol of the world government, and then on top of that, put a giant face on it.
Because he found the blueprints that told him to do every little part of that.
So the moon prints, the blueprints probably came from the moon.
They might have, honestly. I think they did, because what was that ship meant for? Flying to the moon.
It's a spaceship. But you know, another thing, Chad, that people won't tell you on Twitter is that NL, right? He wanted to go to the moon. He kept calling it fairy verse, however you want to call it, endless verse. It's the moon. NL kept saying he wanted to go to the moon. But what people won't tell you is that NL, he wanted to be God and go to the moon because he said that he said that God is from the moon. NL said that, chat. NL said that God is from the moon. So it's interesting.
Did he?
Yes, he said God is from the moon. So it's interesting. Again, we know that there was 3 moon races. They came down, and when they land, 2 of them landed on the Sky Islands. One became known as Birkins, and another one became known as Skypeans. And the ones that landed on Earth on the Blue Sea were Shandorians. That's how they got their names. But it was 3 original races that came from the moon, and apparently the ones that landed in the Sky Islands, they were the ones with these blueprints. They were the ones that said Kami, God, is from the moon. So yeah, like this face on the Arc Maxim has something to do with a god, something to do with the moon, and then just like you said, Miles, the world government symbol. What do they have to do with the moon? What is the full story there?
That is a question. You know, we know that that people from Water 7 in the ancient times, they were afraid that they were going to get Pluton in their hands, the world government or the allied nations of the time, the United Nations. So they thought to themselves, well, if they're going to get an ancient weapon, we should definitely make a big counter weapon because we have the best of the best here. Well, then maybe once the world government found out that they were doing that, like, oh, that's a good idea. We should do the same thing for Uranus. We should make our own ancient weapon counter. And that's when they made the blueprints for the Arc Maxim.
So this is a...
So I'm going to go to an ancient Sky Island where NL found them.
This is my question to you, Miles. This is to Eli. This is to the entire chat, okay? Guys, with these spoilers, 11/16 spoilers, talking about how Mother Flame is a fuel to an ancient weapon, I guess we all agree that this ancient weapon must be some type of machine. Do you guys think that this chapter adds credence to Pluton as a mole? Or do you think this chapter goes against that? Do you think that Pluton is a warship? Like an actual machine, an actual, you know, nuts and bolts, not like an animal. Do you guys think that this chapter helps Pluton's a mole? Or do you think it goes against Pluton's a mole? What do you guys think?
I would say that it I think it gives more credence to that, honestly.
To Pluton being a mole.
To Pluton being a living creature, maybe not. So here's what I think, because, you know, we've talked about this a little bit before, like not much. I do think that all the moles, and like, you know, Doc Saki's video that started the whole thing, there's the moles that the guy from Skypea, Gedatsu, used to, he found it, and then like they went together to Alabasta, and wherever else they went. There was also the mole. Oh, I wanted to talk about this a little bit. So, you know how the world is sinking, and we have islands that used to be a more like complete continent? That's Long Island. It's a complete giant island that's connected together when the water levels sink.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a mole that's used to get through it when it's risen.
Mm.
So I think that proves like that. I think that right there is Oda's way of saying, yeah, before the 200-meter rise, there was a continent. At least a few of them, if not a whole one.
So Dawn of Ascension also said that the Chinese text on the Arc Maxim is God. What do we think about the Arc Maxim having this huge face on it? The text on it says God. There's a world government symbol. And then there's like a flower on like the face of the Arc Maxim. There's like a flower on it.
I agree with that because, well, you know what my first thought was from what I remember is that it looked like the Buddha.
It looked like the Buddha. There's like a flower on like the face of what do you call it? Mother Flame, or what do you call it?
Arc Maxim.
Arc Maxim.
Well, I believe that the flower is like the symbol of like life and renewal. A lot like the devil fruits, really.
Oh Lord. Okay, I tried to pull up a chapter, but I'm getting ads, so whatever. There's a flower on. It's like the face of the Arc Maxim. There's a flower where like a third eye would go. Let me see. I have this picture right here.
You're right.
Yeah,
You're
there's a
right.
flower on the forehead.
Oh, like Lily, bro.
What do you mean, like lily?
A flower. Amazon lily, a flower.
So do you what type of flower is that on the forehead? Is that a certain type of flower?
Let me see.
It's on the forehead of the Arc Maxim. There's a flower on it. Chat, what type of flower is that? Let me see.
Let me get the image here.
Because it's interesting. They write God on the Arc Maxim, then they put a flower on the forehead.
My video is a little bit behind, so give me 1 second to see it.
Let me see if I could find a...
Are you kidding?
What chapter was the Arc Maxim stuff? It's a daisy? What do daisies symbolize? Why did he put a daisy on the Arc Maxim? Yo, because now it seems like Mother Flame's going to be a parallel to the Arc Maxim. Chat, if you guys are going to cook theories, if you guys are going to start cooking some stuff about this Mother Flame ancient weapon, you know, information, start looking at Arc Maxim.
I figure it's no coincidence that flower looked like the world government symbol.
Yeah, it also looks like the world government symbol. I was thinking that too.
I know what that flower is, but I forget the name.
Because the interesting thing is, chat, you got to remember, during Skypiea, NL got into a flying machine, okay? And when this machine was powered up, the pipes coming out of the flying machine, coming out of the Arc Maxim, created a black smoke, a black fog that covered all of Skypiea. The flying machine created that cloud. Then he made the cloud shoot the thunderbolts. So it seems to me that the ancient weapon that the world government is using is a flying machine, just like Arc Maxim, and it's pumping big dark clouds out of the pipes. And somehow they got those dark clouds to shoot out Mother Flame. So it's going to be a parallel to the Arc Maxim. It's going to be a parallel to Skypiea. And that's exactly why when NL was on the Arc Maxim and NL was making it thunderstorm everywhere, that double page is exactly like the Lelucia double page. You all know on the right side you see NL's eye, and then on the Lelucia one you see Emu's eye. On the left you have Lelucia getting destroyed with the lasers, but then on the left you have Skypiea getting destroyed. This panel right here, this double page, is exactly like Mother Flame. It's exactly like Lelucia.
Yeah, and that's why I was saying that I believe that once they didn't think they could get Uranus back in the day, they made their own blueprints, like the counter Pluton blueprints, that could do the same function of creating a hole in the island of the sea once you destroy an island. So
wait. And do you and this is to the chat too, Miles, do you believe that the world government just now used blueprints and created this Uranus, or do you think they had Uranus this whole time and they just needed the energy?
So what I think is that when this all went down originally is that they had so the ancient kingdom had the original 3 ancient weapons. They're all tied in. That's why they had the poneglyphs where they said like this is where each one is. So I think that the world government, I don't know when it happened, they found Uranus, but they couldn't find the other 2 ancient weapons because they couldn't read the poneglyphs. I don't know when it happened, but they found it. But they did make this counter weapon that Enel found the blueprints for. See, only recently.
But that's interesting though, because we know the Birkins came down from the moon and they landed in the Sky Islands and they made a village called Burka.
Exactly.
So like they were Birkins, right? But the thing is like, it seems to me that they always had those blueprints all the way until NL made the Arc Maxim. So like, how did the world government create, like, how do they get blueprints? It makes me think that they had Uranus this whole time. They were hiding Uranus.
I think that they probably had it, but they didn't have a power source for it.
Yeah,
like you were saying.
They needed Mother Flame.
The rumble
is the new power source. So
they
probably
needed
just didn't have a battery.
They needed Mother Flame.
Well, yeah, I mean, like that's why the Mother Flame was used to power actual Uranus, aka the power source of the ancient kingdom. What Vegapunk wanted to use to spread power and energy to the whole world. He recreated it in a small, temporary source it's finite, right? It can't be used
So
endlessly.
so we could collectively say like Uranus being a flying machine, right? Uranus being some form of aircraft is the most likely conclusion.
That's exactly what it is. It's a flying aircraft. It's probably a lot more advanced than Arc Maxim, though.
Yeah, it's gonna be wild. It's probably gonna have a whole like restaurant in that shit. It's gonna be like a ship, like a flying ship. It's gonna be like the Thousand Sunny but flying.
Like the Baratier.
All right, let's go over King J's theory, chat. Miles, Mr. King J says Lord Ganesha theory.
I will be right back, though.
All right, bet. King J said in Hindu mythology, Ganesha once fell down while traveling. Moon made fun of him, saying he fell down because he's a fat elephant. Ganesha cursed the moon to always remain in the dark and never be visible to the rest of the world in light. Imu, though he's the king of the world, can never get out of the moon or out of the room. I believe Zunisha cursed Imu to die if he comes out of Marijwa. That's the taboo Zunisha committed. Out of topic, but after reading the theory, if you search up Ganesha's vehicle, Musishakasura, in images, it clearly resembles Shanks. Wait, let me see. So you're saying the vehicle to Ganesha looks like Shanks. Looks like Shanks. Are you talking about this? This. You're saying this looks like Shanks? Oh, it looks like Shanks the rat. Oh, damn. This man straight calling Shanks a rat. No way. Yeah, so I think Uranus is going to be some type of flying aircraft. And they just needed that fuel. They needed Mother Flame. So chat, another thing is we could look at Witheria. Eli, we could look at Witheria. Witheria was a man-made artificial sky island. And there was 5 old men that use magic, right? They're wizards. There's 5 old men on Witheria, and they literally pilot this sky island. So we got into post-time skip. The old men of Witheria piloted the sky island to Sabaody, and they pulled up to Sabaody, and there's a big bubble on the bottom of Witheria, and it was dropping rain all across Sabaody. And the Marines, when they were chasing Nami, they got rained on. The dirt turned into mud. All the Marines were slipping and falling. Witheria was a piloted sky island shooting rain out of it. And even the head old guy in Witheria said that they need to make sure that they're shooting rain out of the bubble and not thunder out of the bubble because they didn't want to destroy Sabaody. So I think that whole scenario of Witheria being this piloted sky island that could shoot rain out of it, that could shoot thunder out of it, I think that's going to parallel Uranus. It's going to be a flying aircraft, and it's probably going to be a big ass cloud with machinery inside of it. It shoots out Mother Flame. It needs Mother Flame to be a fuel source. It's going to be a damn UFO, chat.
You want to hear something that goes along with that really well?
Go ahead.
There's actually a panel with, I believe it's the weather wizard that Nami met when she first got shot there by Kuma. Pod there. There's a panel where I believe it's him, and he's got a bubble with water and a flame in it.
Yeah, and then you have that. Exactly what Miles said. On Witheria, there is a bubble with fire inside of it. I saw a bunch of people tweeting about it. You guys know what I'm talking about? The bubble, because what they have on Witheria is they have like little, kind of like a hot air balloon, like, because they have like hot air balloons on Witheria that they use like mini ships to travel. And what powers that is they have a bubble with a fire inside of the bubble, and they place that onto like a basket, and like they fly around because of that. So just like Miles said, like that fire bubble on Witheria is exactly like Mother Flame, what we just saw.
You know what it also ties to? When Luffy fought Hody Jones, and what did he do? He was in a bubble underwater, and he created flames.
Yeah, it's like contained fire.
Contained fire underwater in the same bubble that they're using the technology for.
Let me see if I can find a picture of that.
Yeah, like it's no coincidence.
Because right here, I got it.
Did that. Luffy shot his arm out of the bubble to do that, by the way.
I got it right here. Witheria has fire in bubbles. That's how they travel around. So I think
There
Uranus, instead of it being in a bubble, it's going to be inside of the engine, like inside of the tank or something, and like its fuel source is Mother Flame. And then somehow, like, they're also able to shoot Mother Flame, and like when they shoot Mother Flame, it just erases islands.
Do you
So,
think that the lasers shot out of Mother Flame are the same as Kizaru's, or something's different?
I think they're using Mother Flame as like a weapon. Like they made lasers that shoot Mother Flame.
A conductor for like the lasers, but like
Yeah, so
those lasers they shot down are the same lasers.
Let me give you an analogy, right? I would say
Yeah.
Poseidon is to Sea Kings as Uranus is to Mother Flame. Because the Sea Kings could be used for good or evil, Mother Flame could be used for good or evil. Uranus is an ancient weapon, Poseidon is an ancient weapon.
True.
So I think like Mother Flame being dangerous to the One Piece world is similar to the Sea Kings being dangerous to the One Piece world. Because if Luffy got the Sea Kings, he'd use it for Noah's Ark. But if Blackbeard used Poseidon, he would use it to destroy ships, use it to destroy islands. So if a good guy like Luffy had Mother Flame, he'd use it to fuel islands and fuel machinery.
Like Vegapunk wanted to do.
But if Blackbeard got Mother Flame, he would use it to fucking destroy ships, destroy islands, destroy Marijois. So I think
chaos.
like, so that's why I say like, you know, Mother Flame is to Sea Kings as Uranus is to Poseidon.
Interesting. That's an interesting take. I mean, well, yeah, I mean, it goes back to, you know, the initial thought of it depends on who has the power that they're going to use it for good or bad.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I think that the initial ancient weapons were not meant to be weapons.
No.
They were turned into that by the world government. Or named that by the world government.
See, it's going to be irony. Watch, because it's going to be a scenario where the ancient kingdom had ancient weapons and their weapons were actually tools. They were ancient tools. They were sophisticated tools because of, you know, these circumstances in the world. And like they used these ancient tools for good. And it was the 20 Nation Alliance. It was the Emu Alliance that turned those tools into weapons. Watch, it's going to be the world government. They turned the ancient tools into ancient weapons, destroyed the ancient kingdom, destroyed Eni's lobby, destroyed the whole world, rose the sea level by 200 meters. And then on top of it, what do? They make the knowledge about it, they make the history about it taboo, and they tell you that they were weapons. So they used it, they turned these tools into weapons, and then they created propaganda about it.
When in reality, is the poneglyphs. But they're like, no, we don't want you researching the poneglyphs because you're looking for the ancient weapons. When in reality, it's them trying to find the ancient weapons.
Exactly.
It's exactly what happens in real life. Same difference. Same exact thing.
Tiante said the crazy part is those wizards started dressing in suits because of Nami. Maybe that can parallel the Gorosei and Lily. Ooh.
Oh, because remember, what did Doflamingo call most likely Emu? The national treasure of Marijois.
Yeah.
What was Nami called in Wano?
The national treasure.
The national treasure, bro.
Bro, you can't tell. Look at the wizards that live on Witheria. Chat, you can't tell me they don't give you Gorosei vibes. Come on, they give you Gorosei vibes, bro.
Wait, three. Yeah. Oh my. I'm sorry, Mike. I'm just getting excited about an idea I just had. Remember how we were saying that they use black magic to do like certain things?
Yeah, they use black magic.
Weather wizards. That's how Nami described them.
Weather wizards.
They're using magic. It's science, but it's magic.
It's magic because they don't understand it.
Exactly. What is science? It's just magic we don't understand yet.
Exactly. And you know what? When these people of Witheria, these old wizards, were getting into their hot air balloons using bubbles and fire, that's just like how the royalty of the celestial dragons of the world government, they use bubbles to get around. You know, all throughout Sabaody, didn't they use like some kind of bubble to get up to the sky or something like that? Bubble bike.
It was bubbles like holding a bike up, so they could like ride around the air.
So
but even more so. Go ahead.
If you're wondering what Uranus is going to look like, it's going to be a mix between Witheria and Arc Maxim. I'll put my bets right now. It's going to be a mix of both.
It's going to be like Punk Record, the way it's held up in the air.
Yeah, because the whole it astonishes me that people don't realize or at least speak about how the entire island of Punk Records was manufactured. They
No
created
one ever
that
talks about
cloud.
it.
They created those clouds. Chat. The whole cloud island of Punk Records was created. That cloud is not it's not an organic cloud. They made that cloud. It's an island. And they said they made it based off of Sky Islands. So don't you think that what if they made a big ass cloud again, but this time it's an aircraft and you could pilot it around. You could shoot Mother Flame out of it. Maybe the world government already had this craft. And you know, that's going to tie into why Witheria is like a parallel to Uranus. I mean, it's Uranus, the sky guy.
Not just that though, because what do we have besides the time skip where all the straws got sent to different places? What else do we have besides the weather wizards? We had Brooke getting sent to a summoning of a black circle.
Yeah, in the actual
Satan.
Bro, in the official translations of Brooks Time Skip Island, Kamakura Island, they name dropped in the official translations magic and Satan, both of them.
Exactly. So
what
has already been.
What did they say? What were the official translations when the Gorsei appeared in their pentagram? They said magic. They said magic. They said magic in the official translations when the Gorsei teleported, and they used magic in the official translations of Kamakura Island.
Circles.
So they're inherently linked. The world government uses magic. They're magicians, right?
And this goes back to what I was saying about like how I think Emu is like sugar. Sugar turns people like with sentience and thoughts that they can't follow directions unless they're contracted to. Just like Mori. Or actually, no, this is a different point. I'm not going to get all into it yet. But I think Emu turned people from the ancient kingdom into the Sea Kings.
Damn, you think Emu turned humans into Sea Kings?
Where else would they come from? They're abominations.
So you don't think they're naturally occurring?
Not a chance.
You think Emu created the Sea Kings?
I think Emu created the Sea Kings, but this is going to lead into the Davy Jones thing that I think if you want to, we can talk about.
All right, how about we start from the very beginning, Miles? Go ahead and tell the chat, what does Emu is Davy Jones mean? What is Emu is Davy Jones?
All right, well, give me 1 second to grab it.
Shout out to Noob the God with the 5. Thank you, Noob. Appreciate you, bro.
W Noob. All right, chat. So here's the idea about this. It's more bullet points right now, but I'd love if anyone wanted to discuss this with us as I go on about this. So here's the idea. Emu is Davy Jones. Emu is Davy Jones. Forces you to serve by controlling your soul, and you have to serve for hundreds of years to get quote unquote set free. And you're not allowed to go to the surface of the world without your form or soul getting distorted, like the Sea Kings, except once every so many years. But once you make that contract with Davy Jones, you can't leave and have to serve him without question. Remember how Saturn, once he came to Egghead, said, I haven't been to the surface for a very, very long time. To the surface, because he serves Emu. That's how Emu controls the Gorisei. The same way Moria controlled and made contracts with people's shadows, the same way that Big Mom made contracts and controlled souls, the same way that Sugar forced people into servitude and distorted them into fucked up forms and contracts that they had to serve without question. You can also not die immortality. The Gorisei can't die no matter how much damage you do to them, even as Mika with Advanced Conquerors, until your contract is up. Davy Jones also couldn't go to the surface himself, but he would send his monster, the Kraken, out to do his bidding for him. AKA, Emu is hiding away, but he can't go to the surface himself, so he sends out his giant demon monsters, aka the Gorisei, to do his bidding.
Round of applause for Miles. Emu is Davy Jones' new theory. Because you know what? What I like most about that theory, Emu is Davy Jones, is the fact that it parallels off of a reoccurring theme, right? We see that Big Mom steals souls. She does contracts. We see Sugar pretty much steals souls and has all that weird shit going on. We see this reoccurring theme. Are we building that up to Blackbeard? What soul has he stolen? Well, whose soul did Blackbeard steal? You could try to argue, oh, maybe Whitebeard, maybe Thatch. Bro, who gives a fuck about Thatch? I think this reoccurring theme about soul contracts is people selling their souls, people submitting to Emu. Look at what we were just talking about a second ago, Miles. Kamakura Island. Those people in the official translations. Chat, I need you to understand this, chat. Official translations. We're not talking about fan translations. We're talking official. They officially said that they're using magic, that they're trying to spawn in Satan, that they want to do soul contracts. They want to sell their soul to the devil. What is the point of Oda's lore to that? It is the Gorsei. It is the Gorsei. They use the same exact terminology. They said magic on Kamakura. They said magic in Egghead. So the link here is that these guys are selling their souls to Emu. These guys are subjected to Emu's will. That to me is the personification of Davy Jones. Who is selling their soul to somebody? Who is more likely giving out soul contracts, chat? Blackbeard or Emu? I'm going to say Emu. I think Emu is the one giving out the soul contracts. The Gorsei, they sign those contracts. That's why they have this regenerative ability. This is why they bow down to Emu. They submit to Emu. They sold their soul to Emu. The Emu gave them magical powers, bro. They probably do rituals. They have all types of sacrifices. This is all building up to Emu, chat. And now Davy Jones for Blackbeard. Yeah, Miles, people could argue for that. It's fun because Davy Jones in Pirates of the Caribbean, he's like a octopus guy. I understand that. And as much as Blackbeard being an octopus, as much as I love that theory, you know, I feel like the concept of Emu being Davy Jones, it's really interesting. It's a twist off that. And, you know, just the fact that like Long Ring Long Land, we heard about Davy Jones. Could you imagine if it's because of Emu that we heard about Davy Jones and the Davy back fight and it was actually Emu all along? That would be a crazy twist.
It's one of those ancient legends that people hear about, and then they kind of like twist up the actual meanings of them. Like the All Blue. The All Blue is probably the original island before the Red Line, the original world before the Red Line. Davy Jones is probably another iteration of Emu.
Because, you know, here's the thing, right? People don't really talk about, when we talk about Emu, right? All of us just instantly jump to the idea of like, okay, this guy, he lives in a room, he lives in a chamber of Marijois. He never gets out. The Gorsei and the Marines, they do his bidding. You know, they're the face of Emu. But what was Emu before the world government, chat? What was Emu doing before the world government? I think Emu was a pirate before the world government.
Dude. I'm sorry, I'm really excited because I just realized, you know why Davy Jones became Davy Jones?
Why did Davy Jones become Davy Jones?
He fell in love with a woman, and he wanted revenge. So he got involved with a coalition of other people to take them down.
Yo, we gotta cook a mega theory off that. What did you just say? So Davy Jones became Davy Jones because he fell in love with a woman. He got caught in this whole conflict and gathered a coalition of people
to take revenge.
And
then you know what ended up happening? He got cursed to the bottom of the sea.
So the curveball is making One Piece fans think that Davy Jones is playing into Blackbeard, but the whole time it's playing into Emu. Because again, chat, I want to see someone in the chat actually answer this question. What was Emu doing before the world government? Simple question. You watching the stream right now, if you believe that Emu is from the Void Century, if you believe that Emu is at least 900 or 1,000 years old, tell me in the chat right now, what was Emu doing before the world government was established? I think he was a pirate. I think he was sailing the seas. He was probably trying to take control of a bunch of kingdoms. He was probably a rival pirate with Joy Boy. He was simping after Queen Lily, and he had to gather 20 people to erase Nika. He was hating, bro. He was player hating on Sun God Nika and Joy Boy. He wanted all the power. He wanted to be God. He was a rival pirate. And why can't that be Davy Jones then? Why can't that be Davy Jones? Why not? Do we think Emu wasn't a pirate? Bro, I think the safer assumption is that Emu was a pirate. I'd rather assume he was a pirate than not assume. That can't be a hot take. Is that a hot take that I want to assume Blackbeard, that I want to assume Emu was a pirate?
I think Emu was not a pirate, but had piracy tendencies. And became a pirate. Oh, think of Wapple. A king who became a pirate. Another Emu foreshadow.
Yep.
Every major villain for Luffy foreshadows Emu in
all of them
a little way,
bro. All of them. I was working on a video like a while back. You can literally you can list out every major villain in One Piece. There's at least like 1 or 2 or 3 ways that all of them parallel Emu. They're all building up to Emu, and I think that's why Oda's gonna wrap up the story with Emu so fantastically, because it's gonna be a scenario where we see Emu and we're like, oh my god, look at all these themes. He was into the slavery, a battle of ideals. He's just like all these other villains we love, but turned up to 11. Like it's gonna come full circle. It's gonna come full circle where Emu has all those themes we saw throughout the story, but to a much higher degree. It's not gonna feel like a completely random side quest like Kaguya from Naruto. It's gonna actually feel like something cohesive. Like this story is, it's a holistic story throughout the beginning all the way to the end.
It's a cohesive build up to a final villain that actually has been like built up to in the proper narrative way.
100%. Emu's not random.
Oda's gonna do it in the way that Naruto couldn't. Fun fact: I predicted the 6 paths of Vegapunk.
6 paths of Vegapunk. I mean,
the 6 paths of Punk.
The chat's saying Emu could be a dark Sanji. Do we think Emu is a dark Sanji?
I mean, I need to hear the explanation behind that one.
Well, what's the explanation between Emu being a dark Sanji, a dark simp?
A dark simp, because he loves women, but he went to a next level. If I can't have you, no one can.
Yo, what would Sanji say about Andrew Tate?
Oh my god, dude, he'd be like, "Oh god." I don't feel like this is the place for me to say what I genuinely think about that.
Come on, say it, Miles, say it. Say it with your chest. Dude. Say it with your chest.
He would say, you know what's worse than a simp? A fucking pimp.
Yeah, bro. Chad, do you agree with that notion? Do you think what's worse, being a simp or a pimp? I want to know, does the chat agree with Andrew Tate or does the chat agree with Sanji? King J said Sanji is Andrew Tate.
I mean pimp in the literal sense, not like the you just get bitches. No, I mean pimp in the literal sense, like slap her in the face. It's gonna make you enough money.
That is wild. Sanji's not trying to pimp women out. He way more of a simp.
But what's worse though? What is a simp worse or is a pimp worse?
Andrew Tate wants to be street cred even though he's not. Sanji funny. Better. A simp is worse. There's some element of consent when pimping. What?
What the? Whoa.
Yo.
A pocket.
Yo.
2 pockets.
Yo, Macau Jordan. That is out of all 4 pockets.
That's in all 4 pockets and the one that you keep your pen in as a nerd.
Pimp is worse, fam, for sure. Yo, what kind of debate is this? We should be talking about One Piece. We're talking about what's worse, simping or pimping. You know, we're talking about the real shit. Like, bro, in this channel, bro, on this stream, we're talking about the real shit. For an example, Free Palestine. How about that?
Ooh. Oh, you know what?
Free Palestine.
King J brought up an interesting point. That's a good point. Too.
Wait. Before you say what King J said, Miles, can you say loud and clear, fuck Israel?
I mean, my Jewish brethren won't like it, but fuck Israel, bro.
Let's go.
Fuck Israel.
Let's go.
Netanyahu. Fuck Israel. Fuck genociding little carpet bombed babies. Free Palestine.
Yo, G Money, we are live, bro. Can we get a fuck Israel?
Oh shit. Yeah, they're not doing some good stuff. So yeah, for those guys.
Yeah, good
I
stuff
gotta
is not
hear
what
it.
they're
I gotta
doing.
hear it. Yeah, otherwise, you're a Zionist.
Fuck them, I'm dead homies. I don't give a fuck.
Look what Tiante
Yes,
said. I
bro.
want you to read it.
You don't think Oda would stand with Palestine? I mean, look at God Valley. We just barely got God Valley, and the whole point of God Valley is it was ethnically cleansed. They literally had a hunting game. Like the elites do that. You know, the elites chat like. These guys would capture like underage boys and girls, and they would fucking cut their ankles and like set them free so that the kids would try to run away, and they would have a hunting game. Like, bro, this is exactly like real life. That's what they did on God Valley. They had a hunting game. They made a whole game out of it. Don't let evil. No, I know. Hey, I can't be stopped. I can't be stopped. I'm here to spread the truth. Truth, peace.
You didn't see the first part of what he said.
Christopher.
I wanted you to read it.
Christopher Columbus, by the way, is the name of the cross in reference to Jesus, and Columbus is the bird of peace who embodies Jesus, and the peace is Luffy.
But Christopher Columbus is part of why a genocide happened, though.
I mean, Christopher Columbus, he was committing, bro, Christopher Columbus is Garling. They did the same thing. They pulled up to an island. They saw the natives, fucked over all the natives, stole their shit. Yo, we need your resources. Chad, let me tell you a story about Christopher Columbus. You know, when you're American, right? When you live in the country of the free, the home of the brave, quote unquote, they tell you that Christopher Columbus was a hero, but did you know that Christopher Columbus used to pull up to around the Jamaican islands, and he used to tell them if they didn't give him and his ship all of their resources, all of their food, that there was going to be a blood moon and that demons were going to come from the sky and kill everybody there. He would trick people into doing that because he knew when there would be like a blood moon coming up. And he would do that to islands, and they would give him all of their resources. He would take the resources, leave the island, and then the fucking moon would turn red and all the people would go crazy and psycho, and now they have no food. That's Christopher Columbus. That's Christopher Columbus. That's Garling.
And what did he do when he killed Mosgard?
What did he? Oh, we shouldn't defend those poor vermin. Like,
not just that, how did he kill him though? That's the important.
They put him on a cross, bro. They killed Miles. They crucified him, Miles.
They crucified him. I don't think it's any coincidence because do you know about the Saint Peter theory? Saint Jupiter theory?
What's it that they're gonna kill him on a cross?
They're gonna kill him on a cross because Saint Peter, he was the one who originally went against Jesus, but then he realized what I did was horrible, and then he went against Emperor Nero, Nereona, and then when he said like I'm not gonna stand with you anymore, he got crucified like the celestial dragons do when they get taken down. Like what was his name? Yasui. In Wano.
They killed my boy Yasui on a cross.
By Orochi, who I was saying before is an Emu parallel as well.
Bro, they killed one of the best characters. Actually, one of the best deaths in all of One Piece, hands down. Yasui's death. That was one of the best ones.
Not yet. Besides the fact that it was so epic, that he was doing it to share like a new path for the rebellion.
He was trying to get people to rebel because of the fucking ostracizing that Palestine had, or the ostracizing that Wano had to go through. You know, like imagine living in Palestine, or imagine living in Wano, and every fucking day you got to get carpet bombed by Israel. You get carpet bombed by fucking Kaido and Orochi. You would get tired of it.
Well, bro didn't even eat a smile fruit. He didn't even eat one.
Bro, he didn't even eat.
Yeah,
bro.
Yeah, he did. What do you mean he didn't?
Just either way, Yasui died with a smile on his face. Everyone there was laughing, but it's still a smile. He would have smiled anyways. I know because knowing his character, he would have smiled. And he knows we know that. Yeah, and basically, look, that whole thing, everyone there was laughing, smiling, tugging at our heartstrings because they all ate smile fruits. That was don't you think that was one of the best moments of Wano? Top 10?
Amazing moment, honestly.
Does it make your
That
top
man's
10?
Man's a king. This it's on my top 5, bro. Easily.
Top 5 in Wano.
Top 5.
Wait, so chat, what is the best part of Egghead? What is the best moment, a best revelation, the best...
So far.
What is the highlight of Egghead Island arc?
Kuma's backstory.
You think... Hey, I'm not gonna lie. Miles, chapter or volume... I think it's 109. Volume 109 of One Piece is going to be most of Kuma's backstory. If you go through chapters 1090 to 1100, it is the craziest 10 chapter run I've ever seen.
I thought that, I mean, I never expected that we'd I don't even know how to put this because it's Kuma, right? Because
yeah, 1090 all the way to like 1102 was the Kuma backstory. Or 1095, sorry, 1095 to like 1102, something like that.
I don't think there's a single person who met Kuma in Sabaody. Like, why is he helping Luffy in Thriller Bark? Why is he helping him in Sabaody? Which, I mean, at the time, didn't seem like he was helping him, but we learned it was helping him. It was saving his entire crew.
Bro, he defended the Thousand Sunny.
And then he did that, and we're like, what is going on here? And then he said, Dragon in Thriller Bark. He couldn't be anyone's son but yours, could he, Dragon? And then we find out, like, well, this and that about him. And then we see him getting tortured in Marijois, where Bonnie goes after him. We're like, what is going on here? What is going on? Well, it's clearly a sad story, but I don't think any of us expected the story we got in Egghead.
No.
I don't think anyone did.
No, if you told people, okay, let's say you're pre-Gear 5, right? It's like Roof Piece, right? If you told someone, yeah, next arc is Vegapunk arc, all 5 Gorosei are showing up, all of them are going to reveal their monster forms, Luffy's fighting all of them. Yeah, bro, people would tell you you're smoking crack. They would tell you, bro, are you on meth?
If someone said, like, that's my prediction, I would say there's no way in the world.
No one would believe that.
Maybe one Gorosei shows up. I would be like, that's not unbelievable. Because he works with the world government, but... Well, because even like when Saturn showed up, though, we probably all felt like, oh, like we're actually getting a Gorosei demon form right now. Well, that's pretty cool. He's a spider Ushioni, whatever he is, and then
I would have just opened the floodgates. He's like, you know what? I'm gonna show all 5. I can't wait anymore. Fuck it.
All of a sudden, like they all show up. He's like, I will do the summoning. I'm going to do the summoning, and all of them show up in giant forms, and it's just Luffy. It's just Luffy in front of the giant fucking 5 Gorosei. Insane panel. No one ever could have guessed it. There's no one who did guess it because anyone who says they did is lying.
I would say the lineup of the 5 Gorosei and their monster forms that we got not too long ago is one of the best double pages ever. Where Luffy's like really small in front of all 5. You know what I'm talking about? Where they're all you can see them all. That's one of the best double pages of all time.
What was that, like the first double spread in like 10, 15 years?
Bro, it was one of the best ones.
We've had tons of double spreads. We have tons of them.
But just the fact...
No, I'm pretty sure I saw something. I was like, it was the first one in 10 years. But remind me, I want to circle back to expectations on Egghead, but go ahead.
So, like, just the fact that you had that double page, we've been waiting to see the Gorosei since Jaya. It's been a very, very long time. All the way back in Jaya, we're like, wait, there's a government? There's these guys that call the shots? Like, we've been waiting so fucking long as a collective, like, all of us watching and reading this damn story, and we finally got it. And it was one of the best drawn ones. Even the text that, like, overlaid the monster forms, it said the world government, something like that. They added blood on him, or blood on it. It was, like, kind of cracked. Like, there was so much effort put into that double page spread. That shit was one of the best double pages across the story.
Sucks.
Here's a question.
Wait, Miles.
Go ahead.
Let me go one time.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, Alex, I appreciate that. What I was talking about, you said you were talking about love you too. You're talking about expectations for fucking Egghead, and that was reminding me, like, before the arc started, everybody's talking about, oh, post time skip is a mirror of pre time skip. We see like different versions of the same arcs, and everyone's like, they're saying Egghead was about to be, what's it called? like the post Sabaody or something. It was supposed to be like a little filler arc, you know. And like now we're already closing in on like all of like the biggest reveals we've ever had in the series. And like, how many chapters far are we? Like, are we still thinking that arcs are like mirrors pre and post time skip, and like is there anything that we can expect more from the rest of the arc? Or
man, that's interesting because like we all like did believe in like the Sabaody parallel like at the beginning of the arc, especially with like the Kizaru chapters and like him coming or whatever. But it's interesting because like Egghead to me is a parallel of like 6 different arcs, because like you see a lot of like Skypiea influence, you see a lot of Thriller Bark influence, you see a lot of Marineford influence, right? So it's interesting that there's like all these, even the O'Hara flashback, which would be from Enies Lobby, which we have Cypher Pull on Egghead, right? So it's like all these different arcs, like 5-6 different arcs in pre-time skip that are like combined into one to make Egghead. And you know, that's making it interesting because, you know, who knows, maybe next arc is going to be something fresh and new, even though we have been waiting for Elbaf. I think like you know, we just can't expect anything now. Like if Egghead's going to be like 6 different arcs into one, like what can we expect in Elbaf? Like we should just like not even have expectations. Maybe try our best to find parallels, but
yeah, that's like, yeah, you're kind of right. It kind of like just subverted everything everyone was expecting.
Exactly.
Is becoming like the second Wano. It's pretty much like Act 4, but in a completely different setting. Like not like in terms of story, but in terms of level of epicness.
It's definitely one of the best arcs. I mean, like even starting in 1060, we start the very first chapter of the arc is Leloucia. The very first chapter of the arc is Luffy telling the Straw Hats his dream. That was the very first chapter of the arc. We immediately get into this island and someone pops out and they say they're Vegapunk. We've been waiting a long time for that. They got on the island pretty quickly. They saw Vegapunk. He morphed into the space-time like field or whatever. We instantly got information about the technology. Like Luffy was building the friendship with Bonnie. She got to the bubble. Like Egghead was paced perfectly. So I want to say, I think it's Shonen Jump, right? In November, they're going to start having Straw Hat figurines. So Japanese Elbaf figurines in November. So like the Japanese fans believe that that Elbaf is going to arrive in November, which would mean 15 chapters from now. Do you guys buy into that? Can Oda close this arc out within 15 chapters?
Hell yeah, easily.
Bro, I mean, in real life, movies always get leaked because people find like the Hasbro like licenses or like early like toys or early toy pages on like Walmart and stuff. So honestly, I very much believe that it's a strong possibility it could be done in 15 chapters.
It's I don't know, because just like what Eli said, he said 15 chapter or 15 around 15 if he doesn't take hella breaks, because even after 11-16, yeah, because if we get the Straw Hat figurines in November, then maybe we start Elbaf in November, so that's like 15 chapters from now. But if Oda keeps taking breaks, because we have a break after 11-16, if Oda keeps taking a break after 1 chapter 2 chapters and we never get like the 3 chapter runs, like it's going to be less than 15.
Here's the thing with that, is because I don't think we have more than 5 chapters left. Well, I think at most we have 5 chapters left of Egghead, and then we're gonna have a couple of chapters left of like exposition after we get out of Egghead, and then we'll have another few chapters. I think it'll take about 4 chapters for us to get into their new outfits in Elbaf. So once they get to Elbaf, 4 chapters total. They get their new outfits.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think we're going to be out of the Egghead in that long of a time. It'll be another 5 chapters tops. We're at the climax. The message ends, and then we're going to have 2 chapters of escaping, maybe 3, and we're out of there.
Let me see. Wasp said, what is the point of Elbaf now? No enemy to fight, no Uranus to find, if we could trust leaks, only lore and maybe some Usopp stuff. I would say Elbaf is going to have far more than what you listed.
I can name like 5 things right now.
So, I think the likelihood of the final road poneglyph of the 4 that we need, I think first of all that's going to be because of Elbaf, which is already a significant plot point. We know that Oda went through extreme lengths to show how Norse mythology and Norse lore ties into Elbaf. So the idea that there's going to be like this grand war, there's going to be this Ragnarok event on Elbaf, I think the chance of that is at least 90%. So, the idea that the final road poneglyph is on Elbaf, there's going to be this grand battle on Elbaf, the Straw Hats finally get back to this island. Like, you have to think, like, Oda wanted us to think about the Straw Hats going to Elbaf all the way since Little Garden. Like, he's not going to do that just for a filler arc. Like, he's going to make sure it was worth the wait. He's going to put his all into the arc. So I definitely see a scenario where it's Ragnarok, they fight for the last road poneglyph, Shanks shows up, Blackbeard shows up with Pluton. I think Caribou's going to tell Blackbeard about the ancient weapons. Blackbeard goes to Wano, grabs Pluton. He hears about Luffy being on Elbaf, goes to Elbaf, and since Shanks has been chasing Blackbeard, Shanks chases Blackbeard to Elbaf. So then you would have the Luffy Shanks, reuniting on Elbaf and simultaneously fighting against Blackbeard and Pluton.
But has Shanks been chasing Blackbeard? Or is he just warning people about him?
No. He's been chasing Blackbeard because he went to Wano. Because he said he told his crew he went to Wano searching for Blackbeard, and then he followed that up with asking where Blackbeard is.
Good point. Actually, no. Good point. I forgot about that.
Shanks has been chasing Blackbeard this whole time. So I think I don't want to fall in line with like Blackbeard getting Poseidon and Pluton. I think he's just going to get Pluton. I think he's going to get Pluton. He's going to go to Elbaf. And since Shanks is chasing Blackbeard, he's going to chase Blackbeard to Elbaf. And that's like the perfect time for Luffy to reunite with Shanks, have a big battle with Blackbeard. I think it's time. For that. And Elbaf is going to be a huge, big war.
Hold on. You're forgetting one very important thing, bro. You're forgetting about the red hair Straw Hat Davy back. That's gonna happen because Shanks is on his way to fucking body Bartolomeo right now. He's about to have Bartolomeo on the fucking
I don't
ground.
buy into that kind of thing happening, to be honest. But a lot of people do. So it's fair game. I think that a Davy
we can say that's where Shanks. That's what Shanks is doing right now, right? Because that's what Beck was telling him, and they're like, all right, let's go deal with that. So we don't know if he's done with that or what.
I do think that Shanks is going to test Luffy like one more time, like in a big way.
I see them having a clash. Like I see like them jumping off a ship, them dashing towards each other, probably like randomly. Like Luffy's probably going to randomly turn his head. He's to just go run away. And then like next thing we see, they clash. Luffy and Shanks split the sky. I think that'd be amazing. That'd be amazing.
Like how Gear 5 Luffy pulled up on Lucci in that recent episode. You think Shanks is about to do that to him?
Oh yeah, he's like
yeah, exactly.
Well, not even like that. It's like in a blink of a second, he's already in Luffy's face, about to beat the shit out of him or something.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like he did that. Like like he lifted his head up. He did that. Like
okay, yeah.
So Johan in the chat asked, how many arcs are left? So from my answer, I think that's really difficult to answer because I need to know if Blackbeard's going to fight on Elbaf or if Blackbeard's going to have his own separate arc. Because depending on that, it would differentiate my answer. Because if Blackbeard has the grand fight with the Straw Hats outside of Elbaf, that's an arc to me. Because we had that whole thing with fucking with Kaido, right? That was damn near 100 chapters. I don't see like Luffy versus Blackbeard being separate from Elbaf less than like 40 chapters. So I need to know, is Blackbeard's battle on Elbaf or is it separate? That's what I would need to know.
I've got a question for Threeville and chat. Does Blackbeard versus Luffy happen after the final war where the Emu gets taken down?
No.
Or before?
100% Blackbeard fights, or Luffy fights Blackbeard before One Piece. 100%.
So before he takes down Emu.
Yes, 100%. Because I believe, when Luffy was at Sabaody, he saw the red line and he said, the next time I cross a red line, it's gonna, not counting Fishman Island, obviously, but the next time I cross the red line, I'm gonna be the Pirate King. Him finding the One Piece, going to Laugh Tale, that's what makes Luffy Pirate King. So it seems to me that Laugh Tale is going to be a lore arc, a lore drop. They're going to read the real poneglyph because Roger he dropped off the document. He dropped off the real poneglyph at Laugh Tale. So I see Laugh Tale being a lore dump. They're going to read about the Ancient Kingdom. They're going to read the full-fledged story of the war. They're going to decide what their mission is. And I think before that though is Luffy versus Blackbeard. I think when Luffy's gathering that final road poneglyph, that's when Blackbeard jumps in and it's a fight for the road poneglyphs, defeats Blackbeard, goes to Laugh Tale, takes on Emu.
So do you think, as a side note, do you think the last real red poneglyph is at Elbaf?
Yeah, I do.
I was gonna say, do you think it's possibly on the black ship of the man marked by flames who's sailing around the black ship?
I can't say it's not on the ship. I would say it's more likely to be on the island.
I don't know. Because you know what? Because Shanks, he was like, you know what? Hey, Beck, let's go for the One Piece. And then he went right to Elbaf.
He did go to Elbaf suspiciously.
That is kind of weird, isn't it? And then,
Actually, that's a good question to ask chat. Why did Shanks say, let's go for the One Piece, and the next time we saw him days later, it was Elbaf? Why was that?
Not to mention, Big Mom said, if I got the company, the Giants, let on their strength, I would also be I'd be the Pirate King. Do we think that the red poneglyph, the last one that the Strats don't have, is in Elbaf?
I think it's in Elbaf.
Or is it on the black pirate ship that we've been the black ship?
No, I think
the man marked by flames.
I think that whole idea of a man marked by flames that can make a whirlpool and he sails on a black ship, I think that's the One Piece world trying to describe the guy that owns it. I don't necessarily think it's trying to say that like the poneglyph is on a ship and then the ship sails around whirlpools. I think like the whirlpools, the scar, the ship is just how you describe the guy who owns it. And I think the guy that owns it is Loki, because Loki is the prince of Elbaf. We've known this since around Thriller Bark. Loki has to be a significant character of Elbaf. And is he going to be significant just because he's the king? Like, I think there has to be something more than that. I think it's going to be the road poneglyph.
So why is Loki marked by flames?
Because when Big Mom was a child, I think 9 years old, and she was on Elbaf, she got into a big fight with the giants, and she created a fire that burnt half the town. And there was a bunch of giants running out from the buildings on fire, and Mother Carmel had to use her devil fruit, create a soul, and put it into the gigantic fire. And she quenched the fire. She made a little sun guy, and she called him Pandora. So that whole fire, I think, is what burnt Loki. I think that's the reason he's marked by flames, because of the fire Big Mom caused.
So have you heard about the ideas surrounding your Rouge in the Mother Flame?
Mm-mm.
So, okay, you remember it was like S108?
S108.
And then we have your Rouge, who, what is he? He's a monk.
He's a monk.
He's got flame tattoos.
Flame tattoos.
He's also a monk. And what do monks wear? They wear 108 beads.
108 beads.
And also, what's the there's like a thing, I might get this a little bit wrong, but people in the chat will probably know about this, where it's the sun and the distance to the sun to the earth is 108 moons.
So, okay, well, how would your Rouge connect to the machine with Mother Flame inside of it? How does
it might be like 108 Earths or something, or 108 suns.
Yeah, 108 suns.
Definitely not moons.
It's something like
108
that. 108
moons.
It's one of them that's 108 of them to the length. I mean, it's not, that's not the important part.
Yeah, I know. I know what you're talking about. I see that.
No,
where 108 is a special number.
I appreciate, like if you know it, then I want to know it because it helps the theory. But Rouge, he was on a sky island, and then what's the Mother Flame tied to? S108. It's tied to the Uranus, the sky ancient weapon. So, and then we've been waiting for a long time for your Rouge to be tied to something. Why did Oda create this character? Because do we know something about Oda? You know what we know? He never creates characters like this for no reason, for fun.
Yo.
He's a Sky Island character with the 108, the Uranus tie-in, possibly.
Yo, so Tiante made a tweet, and I want to know what you guys think about it.
All right.
He wanted me to see this. Tianti said things are finally coming together as one. Emu is looking at a portrait of a woman that looks like Vivi. Sanji was looking at a portrait that looks like Vivi. During this time, we didn't know Sanji was a prince. So Oda is paralleling that, since Emu could have also been a prince turned to king. So Lily could have been a princess turned to queen that either drowned or was killed by something.
This was in Jaya, right? Or they
Yeah,
underwater.
it was right before they met Cricket.
Yeah, like when those monkeys came to get the monkey guys.
Yeah, the monkey guys.
Like the monkey on the bell in Skypiea.
Tianti also said, also Sanji's epithet is Black Leg, Sanji and Mr. Prince. Ironic, Emu is black like a shadow and also wears a crown. Oda's been foreshadowing this for a while now. Also was given a Germa tech suit that's called Stealth Black.
I mean, that ties in more to Sanji than anything. And Lunarians, who are, what do you call it?
I think he's trying to compare the black silhouette that we keep seeing of Emu to like
but yeah,
Stealth Black.
That's not what Emu actually looks like. It's just a shadow silhouette that Oda likes to do.
So you don't think Oda's playing into it?
I'm not sure, to be honest, because I don't think silhouettes are anything we should ever take seriously.
The more I look at it, the more I think he's just wearing robes and a crown.
I think it's
Like
a
some
robe
Elden
with
Ring character.
Like an Elden Ring character. Does
It's like a godskin duo or
does
something.
Emu have their own blasphemous blade?
Oh no, I loved those theories where he is like the physical incarnate of a devil. He even has that old like 1920s like arrow tail.
the devil tail, like Cuphead.
Yeah, like
That's
Cuphead.
pretty fun.
So you know what? I was thinking about this, and I don't think I've really said this too much, so you guys probably don't know. I think I know what Emu's weapon's going to be.
What is Emu's weapon?
A pitchfork. A supreme grade pitchfork.
A pitchfork. Because you think
trident.
Emu's going to look like the devil.
Because guess who also had a trident, aka a pitchfork?
Neptune.
NL.
Oh.
Neptune as well, but NL.
Neptune.
He did have that shit in SpongeBob.
Neptune is the ruler of the seas. Neptune.
But even Neptune in One Piece, doesn't he have a trident?
He does have a trident in One Piece. But Emu is the ruler of the seas, just like Neptune. NL is the ruler of the skies, kind of like Emu is the false god of the blue sea. He's the false god of the White Sea, and he also was the controller of the Uranus counterpart. But Emu has the real Uranus. He's gonna have a supreme grade trident.
I think Emu probably had the sapphire scale disease. They probably sent people up to go mine for the sapphires, and they used the sapphires in their magic and rituals.
No, you actually have a really good point, because remember how I said that Davy Jones isn't allowed to go to the surface or touch land?
Yeah.
This is just like Bonnie, who cannot go to the surface or touch land.
Yeah, because of the sun and her sapphire scales. I think Emu has sapphire scales, and Emu can't stand the sun and being outside.
Maybe, I was going to say, maybe he has a disease that doesn't allow him to touch the surface, and that's why Saturn is doing these experiments.
But Emu also having sapphire scales disease is like a beautiful play on like Luffy being the sun god.
What about Emu being Joy Boy's weapon?
Emu being Joy Boy's weapon.
So having Joy Boy's weapon, the what is it, the sword and spear?
I don't think it's a spear, to be honest, but I don't know. I think it's more of a staff.
Doesn't he have a saber?
He has a sword.
There's like the silhouette where he has the two weapons. What if Emu has those from the Void Century?
Probably, but there's another interesting thing though, because like the Emu has a sword and swings a sword around, and we know that they said at Marijois that there's 20 swords at the top of the empty throne to signify the 20 kings that came together. But if you count out the swords, it's 19. So like,
really, I was gonna say,
yeah. So I mentioned this in a few videos and on Twitter like a while ago. Maybe like the sword for the Nefertaris is carried by Emu, and like the sword that would have been the Alabasta that would have been for Nefertaris is being wielded by Emu.
That ties in even better if Emu took over the body of Lily. Which I mean, I
'Cause-
don't fully subscribe to that, but I mean, it does fit though. If you
So
think of it that way.
I have a question. Did they say that Queen Lily disappeared when she was on the ship back to Alabasta, or did they just say she disappeared?
You know what? I'd have to see the panel and the dialogue. For
Because
that one.
if they say Lily was on the ship and she disappeared, then maybe they killed her out in the open. Like if she was never on the ship, then I would lean towards her body being stolen. But if she was on the ship, maybe they didn't get her body. Maybe they just killed her.
It's very likely that she got treated the same way that Hancock did, as in a tie-in to Amazon Lily. She got stolen off her
So
ship. Like Hancock did.
they offered Lily to join the world government. She said, "Fuck you." She got on the ship and they were like, "Nah, go chase her ass," and captured her.
Yeah, because like, think about it. Like, who did they introduce? Or because like there was more than 20 kings, I bet, during that time of the world history. Like, what were the criteria to introduce someone into the future world government, the allied nations? Like, why do they introduce certain people and not other people? Only 20 people. I bet Lily had something they really wanted. Emo really wanted.
Yeah. Well, what would it be? What would it be?
I mean,
like, why is there this obsession with Emu and Queen Lily?
I mean, obviously, I'm not the person who came up with this. A lot of people think so. Well, think of Shirahoshi. Think of Momo. They're the ones who have to have the voice of all things, and they're tied to the D clan, and they're the ones who are able to talk to these people who can either control the ancient weapon they're tied to or unleash it. Vivi is probably tied to Uranus.
Vivi is tied to Uranus. Is she supposed to be the one flying the ship? Because Uranus is supposed to be an aircraft. Does Momonosuke pilot? So Momonosuke pilots the Pluton. Vivi pilots Uranus, and Shirahoshi pilots the Sea Kings.
Yeah, something like that. So Shirahoshi directly controls Poseidon, which is just the Sea Kings. They're giant monsters that can do this and that, cause all kinds of insane destruction. You got Momo who says to Zunisha, "I'm the only one who can command you, and you're the only one who can unleash Pluton, besides Blackbeard." And then you got Uranus, who Vivi is probably tied to, Nefertari D. Vivi. And then it's not only that, because why was there so much focus on her friend, the flying guy? What was his
Pell.
name? Pell. A bomb. Pell and the bomb, remember?
What does that tie into?
Oppenheimer, the bomb.
Oppenheimer.
Island destroyer. The island destroying monster.
Oh, okay, so what if the ancient robot on Egghead parallels Pell on Alabasta and they fly up and they hit the bomb? The ancient. Miles, you're cooking.
Yeah, exactly, bro. Exactly.
All right, what chapter did Pell fly into the bomb, chat? What chapter was that? Miles, you have Twitter.
Yeah, I do.
Was Alabasta was before Skypea?
Way before, bro. Way before.
What chapter did Pell die, chat?
He didn't die, but
what chapter should he have died when he flew into the?
He should have died. Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna guess just for fun.
Okay, so the wax fight was 120.
I'm gonna say 132 as a guess.
Drum Island is 140. Why am I getting these ads?
Whoa, I'm way behind.
181 was Mr. 2 fight.
Also, remember when Pell said, like, this is kind of weird, but I don't know why Pell said this. Maybe because Oda didn't know what he was going to go for yet, but I'm one of only 5 devil fruits that allow flight. What was that about?
Yeah, that Oda had to retcon that. Maybe he only knew 5. Maybe he only knew 5. He only knew about 5 of them. He jumped the gun on that.
How many do we have, though? Like, that are like, like
6.
We go by wings. We go by wings.
Yo, did Pell hit the bomb before Luffy beat Crocodile?
Yeah, the bomb went off, and then he beat Crocodile into the sky of all places. The guy who wanted Pluton got beat into the sky.
Yeah, Pell.
While Robin read the pornograph that told her where Pluton was. Not that she said anything.
Yeah, so maybe the ancient robot parallels Pell.
He will. No, he would. No, that's what Iron Giant, bro. Remember Iron Giant, the movie?
Yeah, the Iron Giant
stops
movie.
The bomb from killing everybody. Remember?
Yup.
That's the exact thing I'm talking about. Iron Giant is going to stop a giant bomb, a giant super version of a Buster Call, which is already happening, ironically, but like not a good enough version of it. But a Mother Flame attack, because how ironic it is that Vegapunk created the Mother Flame. It was stolen from him to use Mother Uranus, and then Uranus is going to come destroy the island once they stop the what should we call it? The broadcast. So this ancient giant, it can't hurt the Gorosei because they're immortal, obviously. So what can it do? What's it going to be good for? It's going to stop a bombing of the island that kills everyone before the Straw Hats escape.
Miles, what's your Twitter handle?
Mr. underscore. No, it's literally it's underscore Mr. underscore Miles. It's Mr. Miles underscores for each word. Well, I'm following you. I didn't even think of that though. Yeah, like so like the ancient giant is gonna be Pell in this arc. He's gonna stop a bomb from killing everyone. And then, you know what? The world government wouldn't have, Emu wouldn't have a problem with a bomb on Egghead because the Gorosei won't die. They're immortal.
I really like that take. Pell, paralleling Mother Flame, aka Uranus. So, chat, is the ancient weapon from chapter 1116 Uranus? Are we all going to assume it's Uranus? Because it pretty much has to be, right?
It is. 1,000,000%. We know that for a fact.
So do we like the idea that the ancient kingdom has or not the ancient kingdom, do we like the idea the world government has Uranus? Is that fun for the plot?
I don't like it, but it is what it is.
I think it's fun that the world government has an ancient weapon, Luffy has an ancient weapon, and then Blackbeard gets it.
Yeah. Luffy made friends with Poseidon herself.
Luffy made friends with Poseidon herself. So all of these factions are going to have one, but Luffy needs to basically get Pluton back when he beats Blackbeard.
I mean...
if Blackbeard uses Pluton against Luffy, Luffy's going to pretty much take Pluton to Laugh Tale or take Pluton to the world government.
Well, you know what I think is going to happen? I think that Frankie has Pluton memorized, the counter weapon, and then they're going to take Lilith with them. I think she's going to be the last Vegapunk left standing. She's going to sail with them to Elbaf. And then Frankie and Lilith are going to talk about his Pluton stuff. And they're going to like increase, make the Sunny way more advanced. That's what I think is going to happen.
So do you guys think the Thousand Sunny has something to do with Pluton? And if so, yes. To what extent? What does it have to do with Pluton, the Thousand Sunny?
It's laser thing that it does, the Gao cannon.
The theory is that Frankie memorized the blueprints, so he would put some things he learned from it into the Sunny. He
would implement.
So you think that's confirmed?
I don't know. I wouldn't say so. I feel
I wouldn't say it's confirmed,
that's like such a thing. Like that would be so annoying if Frankie's like, "Oh yeah, I never told you guys the whole time, but I actually like." That would be kind of annoying.
I mean, it's not confirmed, but it's like very easy to insinuate that he like added some things.
I mean, we didn't even watch him build the ship. Maybe like Oda could like draw the panels of him like building the ship, him putting the things in from Pluton. Like he could draw like a flashback, and Frankie's like sitting there thinking about how fucking I remember it had this, I remember it had that, and he's like attaching it to the Thousand Sunny.
I think Pluton was built with atom wood.
Yeah.
Oh my god, okay. Earlier when that one dude said, what is there even to do in Elbaf? One of the things I wrote was Adam Tree and the second route to Skypiea.
Of course.
And also, if there is a Loki, does that mean there's a Thor and Odin?
Yeah, so that's the interesting thing. I think Odin being so important to Norse mythology in real life has to play a role into Elbaf. So I don't think there's going to be a character that's named Odin because that's already used in Wano. I think there's going to be a character that's inspired by Odin and he just has a different name in Elbaf. It'll probably be like maybe Loki in Elbaf is based off of Loki and Odin. Maybe like Oda combines like multiple people for whoever plays Odin. Because like I just don't see Oda making another character named Odin. He'll probably get Odin from Norse and like put it into someone in Elbaf, but gave them a different name.
Okay,
Well,
also
I guess
this,
like
isn't every
point.
time Loki is in power in every single myth, is he usurped the throne or something? Like,
Yeah, he's a trickster. Yeah, so like one time Loki cut this woman's hair and she was the wife of someone important. Was it Thor? He cut her hair and then the guy made him grow the hair back and like attach the hair back and make Thor his hammer. Like, so the trickster Loki had to go to his little dwarf minions and like they created like Thor's hammer and they created like this ever growing hair that like they attached to the princess again. Like Loki's like a trickster. Imagine we get a Joy Boy flashback and Pluton is shown and it turns out that it looks and operates almost exactly like the Sunny.
no, I got it right here.
No, I
So
bet it
what?
does, because it'll be like a better version because it will be able to fly, maybe, and shoot better lasers than the Gallon Cannon.
So here's the thing. If Joy Boy, okay, but everyone says Joy Boy is a giant. So then that ship had to have been big as fuck.
Yeah, like Noah sized.
Noah sized.
Noah sized, bro.
So Emu was a pirate. Do we all at least agree on that? That Emu was a pirate. Then he took down Joy Boy. Then they created the government.
I think Emu was a pirate in the way that Wapple was. A king who like got fucked and then like realized I gotta be a pirate for a little while, and then like trick Joy Boy into like getting my like good graces back, like Orochi too to Odin. That's what I think.
Jay said, "What if Noah is a prototype of OG Pluton?"
I mean, size-wise, yeah, I'd agree with that. Size-wise.
I don't know. That's interesting though, because it seems like they wanted to make Noah's Ark and use Noah's Ark because the world was gonna sink. So like, why didn't they just like keep Pluton around or do something with Pluton if like the Noah's based on Pluton? It seems to like if Noah's based on the Pluton has something to do with Pluton, it's like kind of doubling up on something, you know, like.
Well, probably because of the war, they had to hide Pluton from the Ancient Kingdom, or not the Ancient. I mean, from Emu.
So then they built so then they built another Pluton.
Well, no, I don't think they did. I think the world government. Well, you know what? Because we do know that it was Water 7, and like the shipwrights who made the counter to Pluton, in case they were able to get it. So I don't think they got that, but I think they did that for Uranus.
Yeah,
I think that Uranus had a blueprint for it, or a counter blueprint made by the world government at that same time.
Tiante said also a ship that can be folded and put into your pocket. Wait, what is he talking about?
Yeah, I'm not sure. That's interesting.
A ship that can be folded and put into your pocket. What does that mean?
Oh, come here, dude.
Yo, Amuni, bro, we live, bro. You gotta give, hey Amuni, you gotta give the chat your hottest One Piece take. What is the hottest take you have?
Oh, right now, bro.
Tell them the hottest One Piece take.
Zoro will be forever over Sanji. Sanji. Sanji took a L this whole arc.
You heard that, chat? Zoro over Sanji forever. Sanji's an L character. Sanji took nothing but L's this arc. Go ahead and defend your argument.
All right, bet. So look, we got how now. Don't get me wrong, Luffy took an L too because Vegapunk told him specifically, "Yo, you can get me off the island." Luffy said, "Yeah." What happened?
Facts, bro. That's minus aura, honestly.
Luffy
first L,
Luffy
bro.
Luffy told Sanji, "Yo, take Vegapunk and get him out of here." Okay, how come Sanji in the arc before is able to move fast to where he's invisible? Okay, and then before that, I want to say he blocked Kizaru Light twice, his kick twice. Okay, so Luffy say, Sanji, get him and get out of here. How come you can't run as fast as you can that to where you invisible, but you got Vegapunk killed? I thought you was fast, my boy.
Sanji is he's a disappointment.
Yes. Hands down. Oh, don't get. I forgot about the Jinbei Seraphim. No cap.
Hey, that's Jinbei Seraphim is broken because he's a fishman with fishman karate, and then on top of that, the ground is the water for him. That is the craziest duo.
Hey,
think about it, like having what's his name, Senior Pink's devil fruit, and being a fishman with fishman karate, bro. Wouldn't you just be extra fast in the ground?
Actually, bro, that is broken. Actually, is he able to go into water though?
Yeah.
He just uses the ground as water. Fuck the actual water. That's a broken devil fruit. Because remember, the S shark, right? The Jinbei, Seraphim Jinbei, he used the ground as water on his hand, and he did a fishman karate with the ground water of the fruit.
Back when he was fighting them in the laboratory, huh?
Yeah, back when he was fighting them in the laboratory.
Yo, do you think Emu is actually like a sane person, or this is like just like, because you know, like with all the staring and stuff, you wonder like, is this just a complete psychopath, or
I
is
think
there like an actual semblance of intelligence?
I think like when Oda reveals Emu's face, Emu's gonna have a big grin, like a big smile on his face, and they're gonna be like a psychopath. Like they've been alive for 1,000 years. They don't care about human life. Like Oda needs to dive into that. He needs Emu to be dark. We need a panel where Emu says, "Fuck children, fuck women, fuck humans." We need that evil, dark intent, dark looming shadow from Emu. We need that because there's not enough of that in One Piece, and Emu's the supreme villain.
I hear you with that one, and I can see that. But I feel like recently with all the information getting out, if we was to see Emu now, I don't think he gonna have a smile on his face. He gonna be like, "Ooh, info out. I gotta do something."
Antichrist. Emu's the Antichrist. Emu's definitely going to be crazy, though. I mean, like, Oda has to dive into this idea where Emu doesn't value human life. Because, like, it's because of Emu and the world government that slavery is such a big thing. Like, they basically run the slavery. And then on top of that, we have the world government who has Cypher Pole members that work with underground arms dealers, that work in the underworld, that work in the black markets. Like, the world government of One Piece is as evil and corrupt as the actual real world. Like, all these guys are corrupt. They're dealing with the underworld. They're dealing with black magic. They're dealing with fucking rituals, sacrifices, and adrenochrome, chat and adrenochrome. Watch, there's gonna be a panel where the Gorosei and like Emu's like drinking blood, like eating somebody or some wild shit.
They're immortal for a reason.
Because I mean, look, we had Big Mom eat a bunch of kids. Big Mom ate children.
Oh my God, you're right. She actually literally did eat a bunch of kids.
And look what they did to that younger girl on Shandora. They were gonna sacrifice her to the fucking sun god.
Oh yeah, before she mentioned the other gods too.
So the Gorosei in their pentagram, Emu with their pentagram and their dark arts, the dark magic of Judaism. They're gonna be fucking tapping into fucking Luciferian beliefs, Luciferian fucking traditions, bro. Drinking blood, sacrificing people. Like we need a panel where Emu just straight up says like, "I love war. I love people suffering." Like he has to be that dark, evil, like evil itself.
Okay, you guys know that meme of LeBron and he's getting ready for the game, but then they like put they put evil music in the background and they're saying he's doing like demonic rituals and shit. Mm-hmm. I need Emu's face over LeBron in that meme.
Just put Emu's face over LeBron. Wait, what? Tianti said it's a queen during her 17th century that bathed in young women blood. She was a serial killer. Bro, what?
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
What?
I know what he's talking about.
That is the craziest shit I've read
name?
today.
I know who he's talking about.
Emu definitely has to be like a god of evil, man.
I think it was Queen Elizabeth.
Because look at Doflamingo. Look at Arlong. Look at these guys that were savage beasts to people. And like Emu's the one running the whole show. Emu's the one that used Lelucia because used Mother Flame on Lelucia because he wanted to see what it did. Like the Gorosei literally said, we don't know if it's real. They said that in the official translations. We don't even know if it's real. And Emu wanted to use it on Lelucia because it was the closest. Emu is pure evil.
Yeah, Queen Elizabeth, Tiante, that's who I thought. It's very messed up.
Queen Elizabeth. Didn't she also steal gold from Africa? Bro, they stole everything from Africa.
Well, we got blood diamonds coming out of there, so it's the same difference.
Blood diamonds.
That probably ties into One Piece, one or the other.
Gorosei equate
diamond fruit.
See, Straw Hat Lucas said Gorosei equate human life to bugs, so why wouldn't Emu also?
Emu's probably 10 times worse than they are about it.
I think Emu probably walks around the One Piece world like calling like fucking pirates like Goyim. Like I genuinely think like Emu's like the Goyim. They don't deserve to live in Marie-Joie. They don't deserve to live the life that we do. I mean, look at what Gorosei called people insects.
And based his story around real world events, and the stuff he's saying now could actually be real now.
Well, think about it.
This probably is one.
I don't know about that one.
Look, because look at it this way. All of us, we make One Piece theories a lot of the time because we look at One Piece and we're like, oh shit, this thing in One Piece is based off this thing in real life. How often do we do that? We constantly do that because this entire story is based off of real life. Like that's why there's ethnic cleansing. That's why there's taboo subjects. That's why there's dark rituals. Like the entire story of One Piece, the entire foundation to this Odyssey is just real life in like a comedic, funny, goofy way with pirates. But at the end of the day, this is just real life. So you have to wonder like, okay, why is the world government based off the United Nations? Why are the Gorosei based off the UN Security Council? Why are the Gorosei doing black magic? Like if you look at quote unquote conspiracy theories, which is just basically things that are going to be fact in 6 months, like when you look at those things, you see how they all tie into these elites, these presidents, these people with power like Jeffrey Epstein doing what? What do people like him do in real life, chat? What do people like him in real life do? What did the Gorosei do? What did the Celestial Dragons do with Boa Hancock? Oda literally wrote it into the story. They grabbed Boa Hancock when she was a child. What did they do to Ginny? Like
Epstein. That's what they did.
Man, it's crazy. So Emu has to be a psychopath. Just imagine living 900 years and like the whole time living 900 years is like spreading like pain and suffering, like for 900 years of doing that.
I'd be willing to bet that Emu didn't start that way though.
You'd be willing to bet what?
I'd be willing to bet that Emu did not start that way though. Like they weren't always like so horrific and enslavement esque and evil.
So you think Emu? You think it built over time with Emu?
I think that there was something that Emu had to go through that wasn't his own fault. That like drove him into this like line of thinking and this like course that he took on to take down Joy Boy and his kingdom.
So you think like Emu's getting revenge on the world?
Yep, I do think that's what happened.
Chat, is Emu taking revenge on the world?
That's a long revenge. Now I can just torture in the world.
Bro, we were talking about that. Tiante, we were talking about that. Tiante said, imagine if the flower garden was actually a graveyard with bodies in there.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Yo.
And that's why it grows so good, because they got all the nutrients from the bodies.
Nah, you're wild for that one, bro. You also, Jeffrey Dahmer ass.
Think about it, because what does because Orochi's girl, what was her name? It was I forget her name. Hiyori.
Miles, I kind of agree with Jay. He said no average ass story. He needs to be evil from birth.
a Dio or like a one
Yeah,
for
like
all?
Emu has to be like evil
one-
itself. Like if evil was a person, it would be Emu.
All for
How
one?
can you say that
I think that.
if Rayleigh and Vegapunk is talking about,
But
hey, y'all choose which side y'all want to be on,
that's the
if
issue is
that's the case.
because Vegapunk said, I don't know which side was right or wrong.
But we do, because he doesn't have the full context, bro. We us One Piece fans, we know Emu's evil. Come on,
back to every person who foreshadows Emu.
You could talk about how Vegapunk isn't sure which ideology was better, but look at the ideology that won. The world government ideology of having slaves, of having Sabaody Kingdom, of having the heavenly tribute, of having Emu.
We don't know what it was. Dude, we're talking about 1,000 years. You know how much it changes in 1,800 years, whatever it is?
They exiled people the past 1,000 years. The moment the ancient kingdom fell, what happened? Oh, Fishman, you're fucking scum of the earth. We're gonna start having slaves. We're gonna erase Nika. We're gonna erase Joy Boy.
The Fishman was probably fighting against them with the other side, so that's why they was like, oh, since y'all fought against us, then we just gonna throw y'all.
So are you gonna try to debate that the world government was originally good and they beat Joy Boy and they became evil?
I ain't saying it was good.
You're just saying I'm jumping the gun.
Let me ask you a question. Was Orochi before like what he did? Because he did evil shit. Obviously he did very evil stuff. He enslaved people, all that, but when it started for him, would you say he was on the wrong side because he got ostracized? And
yes,
he didn't do.
Okay, I understand your whole thing about Orochi paralleling Emu. I understand that, but at the same time, like it's Orochi, right? We're talking about Emu, like final villain, king of the earth, like bombing Lelucia because it's the closest thing nearby, like allowing slavery and even having slavery being done underground in Marijois. He's like Emu is rotten to the core. I think Emu's going to be evil incarnate, and I think he got all 20 nations to go against Joy Boy through trickery and manipulation. I guarantee you, like he lied to the 20 nations. He lied about Joy Boy. He lied about the ancient weapons. He lied about the Void Century, and he covered it all up, just like the real world elites. He's evil itself, bro.
That's my point, though. Is Orochi was evil himself, but he didn't start out that way. Emu
was probably so jealous of Joy Boy and Sun God Nika, like looking at them like, oh, Joy Boy's a god, Sun God Nika's a god. You guys think Sun God and Nika is the god? I want to be god, and that's gonna play into why fucking Enel thinks he's a god. Bro was born thinking he was a fucking god, and they're gonna parallel off of each other.
You don't think there's any chance that Emu started out as a regular person who just got messed up over things that their family did or people they're associated with did?
Okay,
and they were like all revenge.
Okay, because you could have a scenario where Emu is evil, but there's still bad things that happen to Emu.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. Like, they are evil. They're absolutely evil. They're horrible.
Well, I think he was evil from the birth. I think Emu was pure evil. If you had like the concept of evil and you put it into a person, it's Emu.
All right, I'll put it like this. Now that y'all saying that, y'all make me think that maybe he, from birth, he probably had like different views, and growing up, it was probably the ancient kingdom. They're doing all this advanced stuff. And knowing him, he was just like, I'm tired of it. I don't even want to see. So he just gathered his 20 posses and just started.
Like, I want to be part of this. Like, this is too much. Like, you guys want to take this down with me? Is that what you're saying?
Because I mean, as you can see in the world right now, what type of advanced stuff do they have besides Vegapunk doing it for them?
Well, that's the entire point, though, is that they had insanely hyper-advanced technology. I mean, we don't know for a fact. I mean, we always suspected, like, recently, but now we know for a fact. One Piece world is a post-apocalyptic world.
Yeah, okay.
So,
it is. I mean, it is.
I would say, oh, yeah, so we already know that much. And I would say that I think Emu wanted personal revenge against Joy Boy and his kingdom, and he convinced the other 20 kings that he wanted personal revenge for himself, but he's like, well, how can I get other people to do this with me? Well, hey, if you come in this with me, while he's gone, like being a first pirate, sailing around the world like Odin did with the Roshi. He went off and fucked off to wherever. I will give you all the technology you want from this kingdom if you help me take it over. But I want personal revenge to himself, is what he thought.
So what you saying was back then there was no one ruled the world. Everybody was like free to do whatever.
Yep.
And Emu just wanted to just rule.
Well, I mean, I think Emu wanted to. I think that something like set Emu off to take revenge against Joy Boy, and then Joy Boy was the first pirate. He wanted to go sail around, just like Odin was the first Wano pirate. He went and sailed around, and what happened when Odin sailed around is his kingdom was left vulnerable, and then when he came back.
I don't know, because that made me think, because you said sail around. And me thinking
adventure.
When Joy Boy was born, I don't think Emu was like had that power or nothing like that. So that means the world was flooded.
Though.
So I feel like there was like more lands.
I think Emu was born into a family that believes like, oh, our bloodline is supreme. Fuck humans, like we're top. Yes. He was born into royalty. Like that's why like a lot of a lot of elites are the way they are because they were born into being like in a rich family in a rich kingdom. Emu was born into that kind of lifestyle, and that's why Emu was so sick and twisted, and he got these 20 kingdoms. He wanted to be God. That's going to be the parallel. Like the whole thing about like, oh, NL wanted to be God. NL wanted to be God. I'm Kami. I'm God. I'm God. I'm God. I'm God. Right? And he parallels Emu because it's going to be Emu looking at the sun god thinking, oh, I want to be God. Like I'm the sun god. I'm the God of this world. And he had to get 20 nations the trick in order to pull that off. Make them think like, oh, we're gonna make United Nations, it's gonna be a little democracy, we're all gonna have similar power to each other, but in the reality that the guy with the veto power is the Emu.
Exactly, because that's what Orochi's family did too. They said, well, you know what, we deserve to rule everyone. We deserve to be the not the daimyo but the emperor, the the emperor of Wano. And they decided like, we're gonna poison the other daimyos and families, and we're gonna rule everybody. So it's the exact same thing as what NL did. I'm going to kill everybody else, and I'm going to rule until I don't feel like doing it anymore. But that was a different thing.
I think Emu's just so hungry for power that Emu could sit there for a millennium, and just be ruler, just be king of the world because he's so obsessed with power. Like that, like he's the pure embodiment of just power hungry. And his appetite is endless. Like he's been doing it for 1,000 years.
He's being king, but how is he being a king? Like, dude, you a secret. Nobody even knows you real.
Yeah. Hey, the greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't exist.
AKA Emu. Can you believe that I talked to someone recently in a different Discord chat? And he's like, no, I think that Emu is Yahweh, aka God.
What?
I'm like, no, he's the devil. He's the devil. It's so obvious. Like, we went on and on about it. Can you believe that?
Can my Christians and fellow Muslims go against that theory for me?
Oh, actually, there's a second question that I want to ask everybody, you guys and the chat. Do you guys think that so we got when Sabo attacked the Gorosei when Cobra was talking, remember? We got the initial silhouettes of the Gorosei and Emu, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So remember on the second panel, we saw like this giant like thing crawling down the steps.
Yeah.
Emu was. Was that Jupiter or was that?
No, that was Emu. That was Emu.
I think
it was Emu. It was Emu.
And what does the chat think? Was that Emu or Jupiter?
Bro, it was definitely Emu.
It was.
Oh, I agree. I just want to know the chat thinks too. Chat.
Real quick though, Simon with the 2, bro. Thank you, appreciate it, bro. Simon, he asked us, is Emu actually Joffrey from Game of Thrones? Oh, Mooney, you stopped before you stopped before you reached. Wait, didn't you start Game of Thrones?
Yeah, I only got to like season 1. That's only.
Bro. Well, we got Game of Thrones spoilers. I'm about to answer the super chat. It's spoilers to Game of Thrones.
I want to know. I don't think I'm gonna ever get back to it. So yeah.
Okay, so in Game of Thrones, Joffrey was like this younger teenage white boy, blonde hair, who like became the king because his mom poisoned okay, so basically his mom, like biological mom, slept with her biological brother to produce Joffrey. No. Joffrey's a child of incest, and then what happened was the queen killed her husband, who was the king, and the king was like, "Oh, I'm gonna make my son the king if I ever die." And like his son wasn't actually his; it was the mom's brother. So Joffrey rose to power because of his mom doing that, and like Simon thinks that maybe Emu rose to power because Emu's mom had incest with her brother, created Emu, killed her husband, and made Emu king. Joffrey's also really arrogant. He wants people to suffer and die for any little thing. Like if you cough, like he'll kill you.
So does that mean Joffrey was the disability?
Nah, he was actually just a fucking psychopath. He didn't have any disabilities, but Joffrey in Game of Thrones was like really angry and arrogant. He liked to see people suffer. He liked to watch people get murdered and like beat and shot and stuff like that. He was very sick and twisted.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that could parallel Emu. I do think Emu is going to be a sadist. Like Emu's going to enjoy watching people suffer.
Probably, yeah.
I mean, he has slaves in Marijois that work the elevators, right? That work like the. True.
It's kind of interesting that you say that too, because the ancient kingdom had advanced tech that was used by an actual power system like the Mother Flame or electricity or whatever it might have been.
Mother Flame.
But yeah, but what do? They have similar things that are powered by
slaves,
aka slaves, exactly.
Damn.
Because you know what I think happened is they wanted to take the technology. They realized they couldn't take it. They flooded the world. They're like, well, so, we can't win. You can't win. No one's gonna have the technology anymore.
About flooding the world.
They're like, exactly.
About flooding the world, we find out that like Vegapunk said that the war from the Void Century is actually not over. So that pretty much like confirms that the world government have been trying to sink the world like for the past like at least 900 years. Because like they went to.
It's not gonna be over till Joy Boy goes, till that fruit goes.
So that was their end goal, to get rid of the Nika fruit.
That was their whole goal from the jump, to try to retrieve it. But I mean, they've been doing a terrible job. Like, is the Gorosei scared to go against Roger? You had a chance to stop him. He ain't had no devil fruit. All he had was hockey, and y'all was scared to just go after that.
Damn.
So, I don't know. The Gorosei, I don't know, because they just been making bad decisions. One, they could have been stopped the transmission from going, but they worrying about everybody else doing their dirty work, and they just keep failing.
Damn. You had some choice words for the Gorosei. I mean, they are failing. Like we see Saturn getting embarrassed by Usopp and Nami and all them. Like the Gorosei are just getting like dunked on. Like they can't stop the transmission. They can't kill anybody. Like what's ultimately going to happen with the Gorosei? Just like an Enies Lobby 2.0? Is this Enies Lobby 2.0? And this time it's the Gorosei instead of Cypher Pole?
We got the Gorosei before the Holy Knights. That just shows me that the Holy Knights is better than the Gorosei. That's fine.
You know what? I think what's going to happen is the Gorosei fail here on Egghead. The Gorosei go back to Emu. They do another blood contract. They sacrifice something and they become stronger. And we see that's how the Gorosei become stronger, is through their blood contracts with Emu. And then what's going to end up happening is we go back to the mainline story. They go to Elbath, and then the Holy Knights get sent out while we get prepared for Gorosei again in Final War. I think the Gorosei, they're going to fall back. Oda's going to throw the Holy Knights into the story. Holy Knights are going to do some shit. And then when we go to Final War at the end, the Gorosei come back out. But this time they're stronger, probably because of like some blood sacrifice, some kind of ritual. That would be that could be a way that Oda reveals like why the Gorosei are the way they are. Because how are we supposed to accept that the Gorosei just regenerate? We're just supposed to accept they just regenerate.
Yeah.
Well,
Shout out to Gots Chalks It Up though with the 2. Thank you, bro. Shout out to the boy. He said Emu and awakened devil fruit brings the worst out of him. What do we think about that?
Emu's awakening?
He said Emu and awakened devil fruit brings worse out of him.
Well, so if you want to go back to why the Gorosei can't get hurt, and then let's go back to the Davy Jones thing, but I can actually give more information into that. Also, Brooke. So remember how I said Moria, and then Big Mom, and then also Sugar?
Yeah.
So remember when we went to Thriller Bark, and we had, Moria made the contracts with people's shadows, aka semi-souls, not full souls, but semi-souls. Nobody could hurt them, right? Remember, like when the Straw Hats were fighting them, they couldn't take them down except for beating them up a little bit, but they kept coming up until Brooke did what? He threw salt in their mouth. And then the big spider monkey, who looks like what? Looks like Saturn, a spider and animal mix.
Yeah.
He took him down. And then what do we have next? We have Brooke injuring Big Mom's main homie, Prometheus, who is a sun fire thing, which is kind of weird, but it is what it is. So when he cut Prometheus in the face, what did Prometheus say? What did Big Mom say? No one's ever injured my main homie. No one's ever done this before. So that's 2 things in a row already that no one's ever injured that Brooke injured.
I think the parallel of these guys being weak to something and these guys having a flaw like all throughout the story, it will parallel the Gorosei, but maybe that flaw for the Gorosei is fire and flame.
Could be.
Because
I think the flaw is going to be spiritual white women with sage bushes.
What? What are you talking about?
Because think about it though, like Luffy can use fire, Zoro can use fire, Sanji can use fire, Sabo can use fire. If the Gorosei are weak to fire, that would be an interesting thing. So like, with the zombies on Thriller Bark, it's salt. With the Gorosei, it's fire. What was the other one that you had? The weakness. Homies being weak to whatever.
He cut Prometheus' face with soul power.
I feel like Brook Fruit is different. I feel like it's not even a revive fruit.
I've got a full explanation for this. I mean, and this is why I think that Zoro.
Wait. So to the super chat though, Emu and awakened devil fruit brings worse out of him. What do we say about that super chat? Emu and awakened.
What does he?
Yo, Gots chalks it up. What do you mean by that? Yo, Gots, what do you mean by that?
Yeah, give us an explanation.
What do you mean?
Yeah. What do you mean by that, sir?
That Drewski mean? What you mean by that?
Gentleman and scholar.
What are similar to how Slat infected a wound on Guts in the astral realm? Slat gave Guts soul a wound, and in the physical world, it had to be healed by magic.
Yeah, I mean, I know what you're trying to say is that they hurt his soul to hurt his immortal physical body, I guess.
That's why I feel like Brooke.
Exactly what Brooke can do. Brooke can do that. Brooke can do that.
He attacked the soul.
He attacked the soul.
Prometheus was a physical body of fire, but he couldn't be hurt by anybody, and that's why when Brooke hurt him, it was like, "What the hell? You actually injured me? This hurts." He was like, "No one's ever done this before."
I feel like Brooke learned it when he did the 2-year time skip.
Well, no, I mean, yeah, I agree with you. Like he learned how to really use his soul power, but here's the weird thing: Brooke's devil fruit is not the soul fruit. It's the revive fruit. Like all he did was die and come back to life. He's not Big Mom.
Man, what if the revive is secondary to something else? Kind of like how Rubber is like secondary to Nika.
Well, I mean, you're talking about 2 different things though, because the rubber fruit is not the rubber fruit.
Yeah, but so you have this old devil fruit just for the sake of reviving. Like I think there's other powers. Let
me explain. This is what I'm saying. So the reason Brook can touch into underworld powers, the soul powers, is because he died. His soul went into the underworld, but it came back. And remember, think about this. Why can Zoro probably do this too? Remember what Otis said? And he's like, "Oh, if Zoro dies, his soul will wander around, but it'll lose its way and come back." What does that sound like? Who does that sound like? It'll come back to his body after losing its way.
Brook.
It sounds exactly like Brook, who has what? Underworld powers.
So Gotts ended up correcting himself. He said awakened devil fruit loses their personality. So I guess what Gotts is saying is that if Emu has a devil fruit and he's awakened, Emu, like being completely awakened, he probably has no personality. Is that what you're saying, Gotts?
I mean, I'm sure that Emu has a yokai. Oh, that's another thing
I guess he's saying that Emu's awakening brings the worst out of Emu.
I mean, well, look at what I mean, because like, even if you awaken your Zoan, I mean, you keep, you keep your personality, it still obviously affects you. Because look at Luffy, he's laughing, he's acting like a Looney Tune. Look at even Lucci, he's, he's still like in control, but he's acting like a ravenous, murderous animal.
Yeah, go fight yourself.
So it still affects you, even if you do keep your personality.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that Emu, who probably is a yokai.
Emu has a yokai.
Well, let me ask you guys this. So, you know how we got the explanations of what they all are, the Gorosei?
Yup.
It didn't say mythical Zoan.
He didn't say mythical Zoan.
It didn't say mythical Zoan, bird fruit model, Itsamade, or, worm fruit model, sandworm. But you know what I think is going on? I mean, I know a lot of people think they're actual demons or yokai, but I think we're getting a new model of Zoan, aka yokai Zoans. What do you guys think?
Yokai Zoans. Man, I do think a lot of the Gorosei's power comes from Emu and black magic. I just don't know I don't know what to what extent. So like part of me everything. I don't know to what extent, because for all we know, they sold their soul to Emu. They did a soul contract. They sold their soul to Satan, just like Kamakura Island residents talk about. And that's why they have monster forms. And maybe that's why they also teleport and why they can regenerate. Like they got this power from Emu through some type of contract. So I just don't know. I don't know to what extent though. So it could be for even the monster extent. Maybe they didn't have to eat fruits because they sold their soul and Emu gave them those monster forms.
Except they have hybrid and they have the awakened Hagoromo smoke scarf.
Oh, well, maybe them having those powers and them being, based off of those monsters and whatnot, maybe they bypassed having to eat a devil fruit. Maybe a devil fruit is like the typical like organic way of getting a power. But like if they do a contract with Emu, maybe they don't have to eat a fruit. It could easily be yeah, because then they wouldn't drown. Like they could bypass it and do it with a soul contract. Maybe they could get the fruit power without eating the fruit. Then they could regenerate. Then maybe they age slowly. Like there could be a bunch of reasons.
So they're the same powers as a mythical Zoan or a yokai.
Yeah, without having the fruit. Oda could do that.
But they can't drown.
Yeah, like it's like bypassing in a way.
But otherwise, same thing as besides the summoning pentagram and the immortality, those aren't part of their fruits.
Mm-hmm.
And then plus the not drowning.
All right.
I mean, I wouldn't mind that. But I'm saying like they've got devil fruit powers. If you ask me, I mean, they have the Hagoromo scarf. They got hybrid form, beast form, human form.
Shout out to JR Writer with the 5. Thank you, bro. Appreciate it, JR Writer. He said, any chance the Gorosei weakness could be Moria's fruit? Still wondering why there was an order to kill Moria after Paramount War.
Ooh, because he messed up his shadow fruit usage, for one. And he let Nika, not Nika yet, but Luffy beat him. They were tired of going further and further.
But at the same time, like, why didn't they go after, other people to that extent that lost to Luffy? Like, did they treat Crocodile the same way? They threw him in prison.
Because he had the shadow fruit specifically, and he also had God Valley under a part of God Valley as his island,
you're a subscriber to that theory.
Yeah, I am. Absolutely.
Let's go. God Valley is Thriller Bark.
Exactly. So they're like, you know what? This guy pisses off too much. He's got God Valley. He's got Rocks Pirates as his zombies. He's got the Shadow Fruit, which is like our master's thing. He's like,
Damn.
well, we've had enough of this guy.
We've had enough. We gotta erase his ass.
Like, if you have all these freaking powers and all these subordinates and God Valley, and you still can't beat this unawakened Nico with no hockey, you are useless to us. We're getting rid of you.
All right, last question in the chat before we end the stream here, chat. This is from Johan. He said, One Piece treasure is linked to the Doomsday Book, and crown jewels are clues on chapter 1, 100, and 1000. Huh.
The Doomsday Book.
The Doomsday Book. I don't know anything about the Doomsday Book.
You gonna have to explain that one, my friend.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the Doomsday Book. And what you meant by the, you said sapphire scales?
What year?
The crown jewels on 1, 100, and 1000. Oh, you talking about the crown? Huh. All right. Well, either way, with that being said, chat, appreciate you being here. Thank you for watching the stream. Shouts out to the bros in chat and VC. Thank you, Miles, Eli, and Amuni. Good short summary. Well, I'm gonna go live for the long summary, which is what, tomorrow? Do we get long summary tomorrow?
I hope so.
If we get long summary tomorrow, we're gonna go live for the long summary. We're gonna go live for the chapter. I'm excited. It's just I'm sad we got a break after this. We get 11-16, then we turn around and get a break. When was the last time we had 3 chapters in a row, man?
It's been a minute though.
Man, it's gonna be a while until fucking we finish One Piece. With all these damn breaks, it's already gonna be a while until we get to Elbaf.
Nah,
we know one thing.
It's been 55 chapters now.
We know one thing for sure.
What?
Kendrick beat Drake.
Kendrick beat Drake. That's how we're ending the stream. Kendrick beat Drake. Peace, everybody.